I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and that other Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. About Kenner's superpower is the history of Toys R Us. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Tokusatsu in America, of Goosebumps. Voltron, Defender of the Universe. History of Saturday morning cartoons. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. History Rich Pale Kids. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. History, The Real Ghostbusters. History of Robotech, Part 1. Dungeons & Dragons animated series. Thundercats of Gargoyles.
Printed and digital.
Comics Wellspring.
And yeah, this is printed with Comics Wellspring. Came out beautiful.
High quality stuff. People think it's fantastic. All the books that you see at my table are through Comics Wellspring.
As a dark new power rises from the shadows of New York, so does a much darker power return to the city's streets for revenge. One of the most terrifying villains in the history of comics is back, and more deadly than ever. In association with Mellow Fellow Trading, visionary artists Ken Berube and Scott McFarlane have teamed up to create a jaw-dropping, officially licensed exclusive variant cover for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder #1 from IDW Publishing. This spine-tingling masterpiece is available in a limited number only at Plastic City Comic Con. Don't miss your chance to grab this radical collectible that's sure to be the ultimate prize for TMNT fans and collectors alike. Buy your copy while they last and have it signed on Saturday, August 23rd from 10 to 5 p.m. at the Lemon Stir Doubletree Hilton. Tickets are only $10. And as always, kids 12 and under are free with a paid adult. See you there, and beware the Shredder.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascot and the promoter for Plastic City Comic Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana the Comic, The Pond, and Surrounded by Death. Whatever. and our third
We're off to a great start.
Host, yeah, I know. Our third co-host, the Time Lord of Tangents.
Oh, I was gonna include it in my thing tonight, but no, next time. We're all
sorry,
but anyway,
we are all destroyed. All three of us were
at a
convention for 3 days this past weekend. We're all destroyed, and I think me and Harry both had to work today too. On top of that, so we're both right. Oh my god, we're both wrecked. I should have taken today off, but I didn't. And I was like,
Me too, actually. I was thinking the same thing. Why am I so stupid? It's like, why didn't I take today off? You know?
yeah, right. Normally I do, and I was like, I should have, and then I would have been fine for the show. But I'm a little wrecked and tired, but it's all right. We press on here on this channel, you know. So we'll try.
Chandra made a great comment. She goes, "You forgot you spoke the English language." That's a good one. Thanks for watching.
That is 100%.
Well, real quick, one fun thing from Terrificon was that Chandra came up with such an awesome idea at our booth, and now she's sketching it out for me. So can't wait to see what the results are in that one.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Sketching,
That's great to hear.
sketching what?
Did I
I'm sorry, I
meet
missed it.
Chandra?
Chandra, yeah, she's an artist. She was at Terrificon, and while she was just kind of like watching me do my thing at the booth, she came up with such a brilliant idea, and it actually turned into an art piece that we're working on now. So I'm real excited about that.
Did I meet her, Johnny, when I was there, or no?
Maybe, I don't know. It was such a crazy weekend. I felt like I pulled a double at Starbucks for 3 days in a row.
It does feel that way.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk a little bit about the con experience tonight too, because like Harry and our first guest George, who will be on here in a few minutes, we're both at Fan Expo vending, and then me and Johnny will talk about Terrificon with our third guest, Vaughn Coleman, who was also had a table at Terrificon. So I would love to hear all, like how Vaughn did, how you did, because me and you were kind of in the same area, Johnny, but we were against the wall, but we were about maybe quarter mile away from each other, something like that.
Something like that.
And then, it's going to be cool to just see what the experiences were like. But we also want to definitely promote their projects as well. So,
and
we'll keep one eye on the clock as we're interviewing so that we stay on schedule tonight. So
the other thing I want to give a big shout out for, it's very important we do that, and it's sort of visible in the background there, Keith, is what Global Comics sent you.
Yeah. Did you see it right there?
Yeah.
I should turn the light off.
There you go.
Can you see it without? Can you see it with?
It's kind of washed out a little bit.
It's a little washed out, but
it's lit up, right?
Yeah.
Tell the audience about that specifically.
Yeah. So, if you guys might have saw after the countdown and all the trailers and I've been putting it on social media a few times that we are part of the Global Comics Watch Library, and what that is Global Comics is the premier digital comics site for everybody out there, but they added recently a new watch section to their app. And what that is they handpicked or curated a bunch of indie comics type YouTube channels, and we are part of that. And so they made that little stinger for us at the beginning, which is almost like the Netflix stinger when you turn on Netflix or HBO Max or something. But a few weeks, maybe a couple months ago when this first happened, the guys over at Global Comics said, "Hey, give me your address. I want to send you something." And I was like, oh, okay, and I didn't even think about it's, when it arrived, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I had totally forgotten, but they sent that sign that's sitting right above me here that it says Indie Comics Relay, and it lights up.
I feel like
it looks like it's washed out because I have my studio light on in front of me. I'll have to try to angle that this way or something, and
put a box around it, right? So if you put a box around it, it'll allow it to glow.
Box around this?
No, box around the sign.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's boxed in, it'll be dark. It'll have like a shade over it, so it'll glow better in the background.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe
you know what I mean, like a little housing for it, And
I thought that was really nice of them to do that.
Very cool.
Not only nice, but it feels sort of prestigious. Like, on YouTube, how they have those plaques for people who have X amount of subscribers. Yeah. I feel like we have a nice plaque to kind of commemorate that we're a part of the launch of this really awesome comics and, creative based video channel that Global Comics is rolling out. Yeah, and exactly. We've been friends of Global Comics since almost their day one with Eric and Chris, so we're totally honored to be part of their new network there.
Yeah, exactly. Every people are saying like a little cubby or a shoebox to block in the light. Yeah, something like that.
Exactly.
I'll be down with it. Either that, or I might even be able to. I have my studio light facing this way in front of me. Maybe if I put that at a different angle, you might be able to see that.
Yep.
That's why you can't see it, because it's pointing. This light's pointing at that light, and they're washing each other out. You know.
Mhm.
Maybe we're getting deep into the technical weeds.
Yeah.
We should. I was just gonna say. I just noticed that Jess is also in the chat. Thanks for watching, Jess.
Yeah.
We missed you at Terrificon too.
Yeah, definitely. There's a bunch of people here. Edwin, Drawing Aces Anthology live on Kickstarter.
Hey, Edwin, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people. Jess,
Hey, Jess.
Chandra. Let's fucking go. Yeah.
Hell
I wish
yeah.
I had that excitement right now.
Keith was it was a little bit of a stumble start, but everything's cool.
Yeah, right. We're getting
Everything's
there.
cool.
We're starting to
We're good. We're good.
wake up a little bit here. Roland said already budgeting for that shredder variant. That's awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Talk about Plastic City. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks now.
Yep, 1 day show in Leominster, Massachusetts.
Some more info about that variant. It's gonna be $20. You can buy it right at the admissions, or you might be able to buy it from the guy that I did the cover with, who's called Mellow Fellow Trading. He'll have 2 tables in the main room with the retailers, so you can either get it from us or there. And the 2 cover artists, Ken and Scott from Angry Dad Comics, have a table as well, and I bet they'll have copies of it. The other thing about it is it's limited to 250 copies, so it's a very small print run. And the cover came out amazing. Those guys did a hell of a job on it.
Beautiful cover.
Yeah, so I
the
feel like that's
official,
gonna be,
that makes it even better.
Yeah, right. And I saw some of the interiors of the book. It looks great. It looks like it's going to be a really good comic. So,
do you have a CGC facilitator on site?
Yeah, actually, my boss Tim from Geek Boutique is looking. He does CGC facilitating at his store, and he told me today he just needs to make sure he has a witness with him, which he's going to work on. He's going to let me know what that whole thing looks like. So yeah, you might be able to get it signed, get it witnessed, and then put it right in the slab, or buy a couple copies, one to keep, one to read, or whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's going to be a limited run, so it's going to be very cool. And let me see.
You need a witness like in Mad Max.
Yeah, right.
Is there like
Morton Joe, he looked at me right in the eyes.
Yeah, right. He said the blood and the red petals resemble a field of skulls. Yeah, I gotta agree. It looks
Magnifique.
really good. And she said I forgot to that I spoke English. It was great. Let me see. Creator of Surrounded by Death and whatever else.
yeah, whatever else. Nonsense.
Cross Comics, who's our second guest tonight's in the chat. Hey, Cross, what's good to see you, man. Let's see what other comics here.
That's some other
that was
shit.
A good one, Roland. You got me good on that one. I like that.
And we say I have to get up extra early to make it there in time, all the way
fucking
from the new
Quincy,
place
kid.
Quincy.
You're in fucking Quincy, kid. Shit. Quincy actually isn't the first Dunkin' Donuts in Quincy or close by.
Is it?
So.
Is it really? I don't know.
In the South Shore somewhere near there.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. Interesting. But anyways, we're running into our time here, so
we don't want to do that because the first guest, a good friend of mine. Yeah,
absolutely. And I actually don't think I've talked to him since the last time he was on the writer's workshop here. So good to see him again here. So without further ado, let's bring in our first guest tonight, who's a friend of of this show. Everybody here, Mr. George O'Connor. What's up, George?
I am a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a friend and a fan. I have multitudes inside me.
Yes.
I love
it. Guest on the IC3 episode where we went to Louis' lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We were talking about that. I don't know if you got to see last week's episode yet, George, but we had Dean Haspiel on.
Yeah.
And he was talking, your name came up and he was mentioning that he knows there's like 5 different George O'Connors or something like that.
Oh, well, yeah, one of them.
Which is wild.
Yeah, when I started doing more and more comics, I Googled myself because of course you do. And that's how I found out there were 5 of us, because I found the thread where the other 4 were talking about me.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That's great.
There's a Council of Georges.
The Council of
Yeah.
Georges.
I just need to know which one's the maker. That's all. And I want to be friends with that one.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Amazing.
We're good guys. We just want to tell stories. We just want to make fun of it. That's all.
Yeah. So I know both you and Harry were both at Fan Expo this weekend.
We need to know the vibe.
I'd be curious what the vibe was at that show, because we'll be talking later on what the vibe was at Turficon.
I'm pretty sure we have opposite experiences for some reason.
Well, you vended though, right? You helped. Well, so
right.
Harry was hired by, what was it, a coat company?
Yeah, well, he advertised on Indeed or LinkedIn or one of those sites, asking for help for the weekend. So I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be a cool experience to be on the other side of the table. Ooh.
No, we have to kill. I'd kill all the other
Johnny's.
ones. It'd be like Jet Li and the one. Yeah, I'd have to kill all the other ones.
Yeah.
You're gonna Highlander at all?
Yeah,
be like,
because there could be only one.
You'll be like you'll be like Lobo. Remember, isn't that what he killed all his people so he'd be unique?
Yeah.
Isn't
Oh,
that
there
his
you go.
whole thing?
I'd Lobo that.
That'd be weird. There were like 5 other Harrys out there. Oh,
Yeah, right. But anyways,
What's my
yeah.
last
So
name?
yeah, so continue here.
No, yes, that's how I found the job. On a job listing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool to experience the convention on the opposite side of a table instead of going as a fan. So I should whatever, but not knowing what I was getting into, the guy, and I'm not going to use any actual names here. I don't think I should. But the guy, before I started working, with him, I did some research as I do, kind of like on here, and the guy had some bad reviews. He had he was known for not paying for hotel rooms and things, and so he has a kind of a reputation. I'm like, crap. So what have I gotten into? Maybe will you not pay me for the weekend or something? So I already kind of had that weird. I was wary already, and. So Thursday was the check-in, we were not, or the setup night, whatever. And I asked him, so what time should I be there? Because I had to work that day. I didn't take that day off, thinking because I get off at 2 p.m. So I'm like, what time should I be there? It's like, oh, anytime after afternoon, because the building's open until 10. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get up at 2. It's like, yeah, come in late afternoon. And for some reason, I think he panicked or whatever. So he hired another girl and another guy that helped him out 2 years ago. He sells coats, leather coats, handmade, real leather, sheepskin coats with pop art, Johnny wearing a Transformers hat. He like a Transformers patch in the back, or the Decepticon, or he has like a trench coat that Skylord would wear. All these really cool handmade coats that kind of speak for themselves. If you go there, you either want it or you don't. You don't really need much selling. So
would you have to load?
Like,
would you have to? Load
jackets.
Jackets.
That was the idea to help set up. For Thursday. And then he somehow panicked and said, yeah, Harry, we're going to meet at 11 a.m., because I really want to get this out of the way and it gets started. I'm like, well, I'm working till 2, I told you that already, so it's like, well, we're going to get started. We're going to have brunch and then just get into it. I'm like, all right. And then by the time I got to work there, I was checking in. He's like, we're pretty much all set. We've set up already. I'm like, all right, great. I'm like, should I even come in today? He's like, well, it'll be nice if you do, because we still have boxes to unload. They're at the FedEx building in Boston somewhere, and if you can load them into your car and help us bring them to the convention. I'm like, well, I don't know how big are these boxes, because I have a little Honda Civic. Can we fit them all in there? I was like, oh, they're not that big, but they're ended up being huge boxes, and they're cramming them in. So I showed up at the convention. They're waiting for me, and his assistant is from Japan. She's And they were waiting there for hours for me, but I kept checking in. I'm not sure what the relationship or the dynamic is with them, but she's from Japan, and they were waiting there, and they were angry. You know, they're like Harry, where you been? I'm like, I was checking with you all day. You know, I told you I was working, and she was like, Harry, where you been? How come you're so late? You know, I can't do a Japanese accent, and I'm like, what are you talking? Like, hi,
we
nice
don't
to
want
meet
you to anyway.
We don't want you to.
I'm like, nice to meet you, by the way. You know, like you're like yelling at me already. You know, and then we get in the car. I was like, Harry, you should have been here hours ago. You know, we've been waiting for you all day. I'm like I've been asking you what time. You never gave me a time to show up. You know, and she's like, and then the guys and the owner, the creator, is in the back seat. He's like, Harry, the reason why she's so upset is because in Japan, when you tell somebody to be someplace at a certain time, that's the time you be there. You can't, no excuses. You can't be late. You can't do, you know, no. That's their culture. It's a cultural thing. You know, you be there on time. I'm like, all right, whatever, you know. So then they take me to the convention, they show me their setup, whatever. Next, I'm like, so tomorrow morning, what time should I pick you guys up? And the guy's like 8:30. I'm like, fine. I get there at 8:15 in the north end to pick them up. That's where their little room was. And I'm like, so I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm here at 8:15. Are you guys around? Are you guys up? And I told them where I was. And like, yeah, well, actually, the girl's like, we're actually running late because, he's in the meeting. It's a very important meeting, and I'm still getting ready. And they ended up coming out at 10 of 9.
Oh, jeez.
And so now I'm like angry, you know, because of what happened the day before. And they sat. I waited till they got in the car, and I'm like, she's like, oh, Harry. She's like in the front seat next to me. He's like, I'm so sorry if we're late. You know, I'm like, listen. In Japan, you get here when you say 8:30, you get here at 8:30, no excuses, you know. And I was like giving it right back to them. You know, like so.
What they say?
She looked at she got hit in the face like a frying pan. She was like shocked, you know. she was
I think they didn't expect it out of you, Harry.
Well,
right?
I was so
you popped them good.
I was half kidding and half angry. You know what I mean? But like still like. Don't, and they were never. I don't know when I became the driver for the weekend, but I ended up driving them all weekend. They lived like 10 minutes away from the convention, and they weren't on time any of those days. You know, but I can tell you more horror stories. I mean, like,
yeah, no.
How was the convention itself, though? Like your experience at the show? We got everything leading up to that.
Horrible.
But how horrible?
Because I mean, actually, I'm pretty proud of myself for a first time.
Well, wait, Harry. Like, let's hear a little bit from George. You're sure. Cannibalizing this conversation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
George.
Right.
So how was your
show?
I feel like this is not like this isn't going to compare at all.
Yeah, well. We don't need the load-in stories. I mean, that one was funny, but like, I want to hear about the experience. Like...
No, so the experience is good. I, along with my friend and creative partner Griffin, have been doing Fan Expo since it was Boston Comic Con. So this is we've been doing it since 2010.
Okay.
And we've been basically in the same spot since it became Fan Expo.
Oh, cool. So they do that for you. They let you have the same.
They do.
Every year. Oh, that's cool.
They do. Like whether it's a courtesy or I check in with them.
Okay.
Like, hey, this spot worked out really well. You know.
Well,
and
I'll tell you, when they make the map, that probably makes their life easier. That you like your spot. You know?
Hopefully. You know, Harry, I'm wondering if this is going to be part of your story. Yeah. So we on purpose set up in Artist Alley inside. So we're basically as far away from the main drag of the entrance as possible, because we want to find people who actually are maybe looking for comics or want to talk to people, not blast their way down to get Hayden Christensen's autograph.
Right. Yeah.
You know, where Harry, I'm guessing you were more in like the heart of the convention.
Like heart, but on the side, on the you know, the wall with
against the wall. Or?
Yeah, right. A few rows in from the wall. From
okay.
Yeah. So
I think I bet especially during that Saturday crunch, like between 11 and 4, which was mobbed in Artist Alley. You know, mobbed in the backwaters of the convention. I can only assume, like, every now and then I'd ask somebody walking by, what's it like in the rest? And it's like, you know, they look like they just got out of Vietnam.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So sales wise, you know, if we want to break it down, since we're talking indie comics, sales wise, a little down from last year, but within spitting distance.
I'm hearing that from a lot of people from both shows. Yeah, definitely.
Still successful. just last year was a hair better. And I'm seriously talking a hair better. Because we've been doing this for so long, what I've really come to appreciate, especially after COVID and all the lockdown, is seeing the regulars. You know, like you guys have been doing this forever and a day. You have regulars. You know, you might only see people for 15 minutes once a year at a convention, but you've been seeing them for like 7-8 years in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, the people who have decided we are worthy of their time, they're really, really nice people.
Yeah.
So being able to check in with all of them throughout the weekend was fantastic as well.
Is now, I've never been to Fan Expo since Boston Comic Con bought it. Is it set up similar to Terrificon, George, where it's like they have the artist alley before the celebrities and you have to go, basically they set it up like a retail store where your best stuff is at the back. Well, what they consider their best stuff. I don't personally consider that the best stuff, but like they put the celebrities at the back and then the artist alley is in front of that. And then everything else is in front of that.
Kind of. Terrificon to me is set up more like just a direct alleyway, right? So so you walk in, you've got your vendors, you eventually get to your artist alley, you eventually get to the comic guests, and then you get to the signing area.
Okay.
This is more like basically a rectangle on its side where you walk in and you can go left, and eventually you'll get to the artist alley section, which takes up a good chunk of the left side and goes maybe about halfway up the whole hall. I'd say about 2/3, maybe 60% of the rest of the show is vendors. And then, eventually you do get to the autograph area up top. And they also have like their main stage where their biggest panels is actually on the con floor off top right.
Oh, interesting.
Which apparently caused some chaos because you had the fudge people, not derogatory, they sell fudge. And
the fudge people,
and that Wild Bill's setup.
Wild Bills. There's always problems when Wild Bills is involved.
Well, it's just in that area, all three fed into each other. So when the biggest and they except for VIPs, they cleared every panel. So after every panel, whatever it was, 5, 7, maybe 1,000 people get dumped out into the Wild Bills cluster, the fudge cluster, and there's no signage. And my heart is, I will always be sympathetic to the volunteers. They're doing the best they can with the information they have, and they don't have all the information.
Yeah, that's true.
So I reading through some posts, that was the biggest gripe. It seemed like especially that side, and just kind of like traffic clearance.
Okay. Now, since you've been doing Fan Expo every year, did you notice a dip in traffic at all with Terrificon happening the same weekend?
I didn't. Friday, again, Friday was great because like all the VIPs who are also friends came by, so that helped pass the time. Sales wise, about the same that we did last year. So it was very chill. It was a Friday. So again, it was very chill. Like Saturday was packed. I think I heard 55,000. Whatever they could legally cram into the Boston Convention Center, they put that in there. And Sunday was calm but steady. Like
that's exactly what Terrificon was, actually. Yeah. Wouldn't you say, Johnny, that was the same kind of traffic flow at Terrificon?
Yeah, I mean, foot traffic. That was one of my big curiosities, George. And I have another question I'm gonna follow up with.
Well, because I felt like our Terrificon had, Friday and Sunday were very similar, and then Saturday was like the day.
Like if I had to gauge foot traffic on a scale of best to worst of Terrificon, I'd just have to say that the busiest day was Saturday, obviously, for the obvious reasons. Second was Sunday, where it felt lighter than normal, But we also have to remember, I think there was a cosplay. Wasn't there a cosplay contest happening?
Yeah,
at
there
one point?
was.
Yeah, so that kind of
panels and
clears the
stuff,
floor a
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
And then the Friday. The Friday was the lightest Friday of Terrificon I've ever seen. And I think some of that had to be because of the just, we had those two shows close to each other in such short distance. And I did actually speak to people who were doing both. Who plan to do both. So that was, and in this day and age where there's only so much money to go around, somebody's doing both. Are they even going to shop? No, they're probably there for specific reasons. I want this and I want this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Or specific autographs.
Right. And then to that other point, what I wanted to ask George is that, did you partake in any networking or any after events? How was that at Fan Expo?
So no, but this is a George thing. I'm 15 minutes from my house.
Oh,
and the idea of going home and seeing my family, and sleeping in my bed and getting a shower, that kind of overruled like anything else. Like that was my main draw.
You've been doing it long enough, George, too, that like you could kind of, you can kind of skip some of those after things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't normally do it either, to be honest with you.
But not even just the after events, the more of like, did you have good interactions where like, oh, that could be an opportunity like at the show itself too?
Yeah. There were two people specifically. I don't want to name names. But there were two people specifically that I was like, oh, I hope I get a chance to connect with them. And I did. And they were both lovely conversations. I have no idea what will come of it. And that's on top of just the normal networking with, the other Artist Alley folks, which, and it's always great that, getting a chance to see people who like, you're reposting and you're backing their Kickstarters and, hey, I actually get to shake their hand this weekend.
Yeah, that's great.
So that was great. Again, being able to table with somebody, like when it gets quiet enough, we both did our, hey, I'm going to do my lap. Yeah. And everything's covered and I get 45 minutes to an hour to check in with people. Yeah.
How about you, Harry? Did you get a chance to break away from the table and go enjoy the con at all?
Here's why I'm completely dead, because the only chance I got was Sunday. I took a 20-30 minute break to do that. You know what I mean? But it's the only
they didn't
time
allow you to just go and.
This guy was like a I don't know, how do I say this, a Nazi. He wouldn't let me go anywhere.
No slander. No slander.
Right.
Let's not offend the Nazi.
The con Nazi. Like some of the soup Nazi.
How do I say this? Right.
No con for you.
Exactly.
No con for you.
Like he would say something like, Harry, make sure you take a break, or you're allowed to walk around, just let me know. I'm like, okay. So every time I went up to him, I'm like, oh, can I go take a break now? Can I take a quick walk? I was like, well, we're kind of busy. I'm expecting a rush to come in now. And
wait, so how many people were selling at the table? Was it you and this guy, and that's it?
So it was me, the Japanese Nazi that was yelling at me, and then there was this girl. This girl that they hired for the weekend along with me, and then they brought in this other guy.
Sorry, Harry, didn't mean to step on it. I was just gonna be like breaking news, and it's just a World War II reel.
So, but this other girl that they hired,
Harry being bossed around by these people at the table.
Oh my! I never worked so hard in my life for so little.
Oh my God.
It was the worst, and the girl was also being like verbally abused.
Welcome to the Comic-Con, Harry.
Yeah, welcome to Comic-Con.
Welcome to Comic-Con, Harry.
Never worked so. Harry, you just said what every indie creator says deep in their heart when they have a bad show.
But you know what?
I've never worked so hard for so little.
Right, but you know what though? You guys,
thank God we love comic books.
But you guys,
otherwise we would be fucking dead.
But George and you guys are selling your own stuff. It's different when you're selling this asshole stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like,
what I'm hearing is you're gonna go back to work for him next year.
Well, that's why I'm not using any actual names here. Just
he's watching right now.
I'm gonna keep a lookout for him next year.
Right, but the one other girl they hired quit because she couldn't take it. The guy was like yelling at her the whole time. Like,
she left. She
left. She never came back. And so the guy's like, "Oh, Harry, we're down a person now, so that means you got to work extra hard. You got to be a little more aggressive."
You got to work extra hard.
So I didn't take any breaks. or anything. And they were long nights, so we had to like do inventory after the show. So I the show ended like when on Friday 7 or something.
9.
We were there 9, so we're there till like 10, 11, doing inventory. And I'm like, and I live an hour away in Leominster, so I didn't get home till like 12 every night.
Do you care to share what your payout was?
It was so it was supposed to be $150 per day, which is like fine because it's not that great, but it's something.
No, it's not. When you break, if you're there till 12 at night,
when you're doing 12-hour days,
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
So I figured
I don't have math. I can't even figure out how.
Well,
much
Johnny's gonna bust this out.
It would have been.
I'm already on the calculator right now. What the hourly rate was.
It would have been 600 if you had counted Thursday, but I'm like, so 600, right? He's like, no. Well, and then he says Thursday and Friday count as one day. I'm like, since when? What planet? One day, So I ended up getting 450. So, but I'm like, we'll forget about
Name names.
Right?
Is this a bridge we're really worried about?
Yeah, are you worried? I mean, I'm
No,
pretty
but,
sure I don't care if boats ever come back to a Comic-Con again.
Well, I will say this though, the coats are well made. I'm surprised because they went from $250
Look at
to
this
like
shill on our show trying to sell these coats.
I'm
Get
not
out of here with that talk.
USD. We need to give it a safe space.
But you guys were just saying how nobody has money this year, But yet the guy was selling them from $250 to $1,000, and these people,
That's
I'm
because
like,
it's in Boston. Because people
Yeah.
in Boston have a lot more income.
have
I
money,
think, to spend.
really? Because there was this one
It's like New York. When you do New York Comic Con, there's guys that'll drop like $1,000, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
What'd you figure out here, Johnny? What was the math?
Oh, I actually did my math. So I'm sorry. I did my math per day comparatively.
Oh,
Like, okay, I still did a little bit better. But yeah, so you had 150 per day, right?
Right.
Except Thursday and Friday counted as one day.
Yeah.
Times two.
Well,
$300.
That's
And how many
science.
hours?
So I basically got 450.
12 hours.
Yeah.
12
Well,
hours.
yeah. With that, yeah, he didn't mention that part, the extra hours. but there was one kid
at that point. I'm
Not
done.
bad.
This one kid came in, very, and I was like questioning his, his mental,
I bet that's less than what I make at the comic store per hour.
I bet, yeah, it's less. So, he was looking at at his long trench coat, leather jacket that went for $550. I was like, oh my God, I got to get this. I think it was like what was it? It wasn't Star-Lord. It was something else. He's like, I have to have this coat. I'm like, really? Like for $550? I'm like, he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, okay, let's try it on. So he put it on. I was like, oh yeah, this is my coat. It's coming home with me. I'm like, really? So I was so shocked at how people drop money like it was nothing, like that's great.
Don't be.
To that point though, I used to when in the early days of me going to San Diego, I would buy a Masterpiece Transformer every year just to commemorate that's the year. I mean, that's where I got that Megatron. I don't know if you can see him. It's right there on the shelf. But anyways, I was gonna say, George. Now, overall, if you'd have to say like comparing the two shows, and not to disparage either, is there a preference? Would you say going forward? Would you say like, oh, I think I like this one better than that one? Or
Please note this comes with a ton of asterisks.
Sure.
It's Fan Expo for two reasons. For very practical reasons. 15 minutes from my house. It's the biggest show I do every year. I don't want to choose between the two.
Right.
I like Terrificon. I've been doing Terrificon almost as long as I've been doing Fan Expo. I've been doing Terrificon when it was whatever the name was beforehand. I was in the lobby of a hotel with them. I was in a hockey arena with them. I moved up as Terrificon moved up. You're talking about After Party, even though that's not really my vibe. What's great about Terrificon, it's real easy to hang with people after that show.
Yeah, because you're there, right?
Right. I do. Myself and Griffin and our friend Diana, when she joins us, we treat it as like a little mini vacation. So yes, we will spend and stay at the hotel, So even though it might not be our most profitable, right? When you throw all the costs together, it's a good time. Usually it's the second, third, fourth biggest show that we do throughout the year. And then, I'm looking at the roster, and like half the people I want to hang out with are in Connecticut and the other half are in Boston. I don't mind a little low level degenerate gambling between selling comics.
Yeah, right.
I fought so hard not to go gamble all the money away.
Yeah.
There were a handful of years. There were a handful of years that we'd close down that Friday night and go like play Let It Ride or video poker, and I'd paid for the weekend.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Before I even had to start selling comic books.
Yeah, right. That's my game too. I love Let It Ride.
So on the one hand, it's an easy choice. On the other hand, it's not a choice I'm thrilled to make. I want to do both shows.
Yeah, bad news. You gotta do. It's gonna happen again next year.
Is it really gonna happen next year?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Next year?
Yeah. Yep. I saw that. I was talking to Tim about that today. They're both doing
Why are they doing that
next year? Well, they're both stubborn.
Please move. I'm begging one of them. Please move the show. Please let us do both.
This is probably where we want to stay favored nations, and we don't want to get too deep while a red recording light's going on.
Yeah,
but it's frustrating, right?
It is. It is, because I think the not only the fans get screwed out of both experiences, but like
right off the bat, I'm going to say right now, my allegiance is to Mitch, and I'll always do Terrificon. Number one, but number two, probably. I felt that difference on the floor. Being a continual person who exhibits at Terrificon, I genuinely felt that difference. I saw it in my numbers when I ran my numbers.
Which unpack that. What do you mean by difference?
Foot traffic, dollar number, downturn, just the way things were busy. Some of my usuals weren't there. Yeah. Things like that. I
was a little down this year too.
Yeah. There are a handful of people I knew I wasn't going to see this year. I'm hoping I'm going to catch them at Plastic.
If they're going to play this game again, I would encourage people who can't choose, don't. and let them sweat it out, because that's not cool. At least and I support Mitch. So I would hope that Fan Expo felt a little hurt from Terrificon and would decide to maybe shift things if possible.
Yeah, or one of them. I mean, I love Mitch.
I stand by Mitch. I want Mitch to hold his ground like Captain America. God bless the guy.
Okay.
But before we get too deep, I was going to say we don't want to burn out George's time so we can promote.
Absolutely. I know.
And to that point, I want to say congrats on smashing the goal for the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, let's share that while we're talking.
Yeah, man. I'm so this series was so awesome. One of the things, so George came to visit me at San Diego Comic-Con. And one of the things I was so proud of is I showed him that I was wearing the enamel pin of his characters on my lanyard.
Oh, nice.
Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I was so happy.
Yeah, dude.
Which I then lost. But I was happy to rebuy through this campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Thanks,
George,
buddy.
You're killing it, man.
You're welcome, man.
Yeah, it's this was the plan. Like 2.5-3 years ago, when we started making this book, and I decided to launch it as a series. The hope was with each launch it would grow, grow dollars, grow audience, all that stuff. And each one grew and grew, and this one, we launched last Tuesday, and we were funded Friday afternoon.
That's awesome.
Which is fantastic. It's the quickest funding I've ever done, and all the metrics blew off the door. Wow. And it was really nice to kind of see 3 years of work and planning and hope actually work. And you guys know it is so much more fun to sit here and say, how far can we push it versus I hope we make it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I agree.
That is a nice feeling.
It really is.
To have to worry about things you never thought you'd have to worry about in that regard.
Yeah.
What type of stretch goal am I going to cook up? What can I put together next? But this is great, man. Like, congrats on this campaign.
Thank you.
Just the whole series altogether.
And
definitely
actually,
one of my favorites alongside Charlie Spot.
Thank you. Your heart will know that Charlie Spot had a fantastic weekend at Fan Expo Boston.
Nice.
A lot of people were connecting with it. And for those that don't know, that is the most like heartfelt, heart on sleeve, rip your heart out in the best way possible.
Great
book.
twists in that book.
Yeah. So, anytime somebody like hears the pitch and I can see it click in their head, that it's wonderful.
Nice.
So that it's always fun to sell that. So it's been and people remembering the book from last year. I had issue 1 last year and looking for 2 and 3, which is always right when they're looking for you to pick it up versus like trying not to make eye contact and just get past you on the aisle.
Next level.
It's a nice change of pace.
It is.
So I'm really happy with the campaign. Anytime I can just talk about Fernando Pinto, Ellie Wright, Justin Birch, and James Emmett, the team, my collaborators who brought this all together, it's easy.
Wonderful
and then we've got these killer covers from Nikolai Villager and Serge Acuna. Yeah,
what's this interview? What's this interview with Phil Plait?
Yeah, okay.
The astronomer.
So Phil Plait is an astronomer and a science writer, and I've been a friend of maybe we're friends. I don't know. I've been a fan of his for years. He has an incredible ability to break down big science things into digestible chunks that the layperson can understand and also get excited about. So when I was thinking about how I could make this book and this campaign more interesting, do something special with it, I thought, what if I interview Phil Plait about the science behind sending vampires to Mars? He's got a great sense of humor. Maybe he'll get it. And I subscribe to his newsletter. It's a fantastic newsletter. And at the bottom, he's like, essentially like, you can send me a line here, but I'm busy. And I'm like, I get that. So I sent him a cold email, and it was interview request. Could vampires survive the trip to Mars? Because I figured interview request.
I would say yes.
Huh?
I would say yes. I mean, because they're already dead.
we explore that. Right. But I figure for a cold email interview request, this is what this is about. Here's the hook, right? Like you're in or you're out. And then I just wrote in like, hey, this is why I want to talk to you. This is what's going on. Let me know if this interests you. And in my mind, he said he's busy. So I'll give him like 2 or 3 months. And if he doesn't respond, like a day later, less than a day later, he's like, never heard this before. Let's do it.
Oh, cool.
So I got basically kind of like my own hour-long convention panel with him. And I took that and split up that interview over the 4 issues of the book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Why is he the bad astronomer though? Like what's
because when he first started, his gimmick was blowing up bad astronomy news or experiences, that type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now, I mean, beyond just sharing his love of astronomy and science, he has now become a fierce advocate for just science in general and protecting science.
That's cool. We need to celebrate that more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's cool.
So yeah.
What did you think
else?
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna bring up that scary thing that we were talking about last week in the show. The 31 Atlas. That asteroid is the comet is coming towards us that is moving in bizarrely different ways that no comet should be moving in.
Unless you read Phil Plait's destruction of that. Yeah.
Is it the ship that created Marvel's Comet Man?
Right. Oh. Here's the shock. The news is taking the most ridiculous part of the interview and running with it as the headline.
Okay.
So hate to break everybody's bubble. It's not a spaceship.
All right.
It's a big rock from far, far away, and that should be interesting enough.
So I was hoping it was the Silver Surfer.
So if you have a scheduled colonoscopy, go ahead and do it. The aliens, won't. Right.
I herald his arrival. I herald your end. I herald Galactus.
That's great.
Yeah. I wonder if I can throw one more thing out about the campaign.
Yes,
because everybody benefits from my fatigue from the weekend. I was supposed to end the early bird rewards Sunday night. I decided to go to bed. So they're still available. So if anybody's listening and wants to get in on it, I'm going to leave there, probably for about 12 more hours, around 9 or 10 tomorrow morning is when I'll actually turn them off. So
what's the early bird special? Is it like a discount on the book?
It's a lot of the, yes, they're discount on the books, and it's a lot of the catch-up tiers, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you're new to the series, I'm going to help you get in, faster.
Gotcha. The link is in the chat, everybody, if you want to get in on this. And like you said, the early bird special is still open and for another 12 hours. So if you want to, George is a great writer, and you should definitely check out his work. And I actually going to pick up, are you going to have some of these issues at Plastic City?
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. I plan to do a little shopping that day. So I can get everybody's stuff if there's not too many problems.
I'll have 1 through 3 with me, and then we'll still have one more week after Plastic for people to jump on the Kickstarter. I've been telling people, like, if you jump on the Kickstarter, you get the book next month. If not, it's next year when we reconnect.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, everybody. So check out Vampires on Mars 1 through 4. It's a complete series that you can get on Kickstarter. And for the next 12 hours, the early bird special is in effect. So definitely check that out. Goal is met. George has produced all the other issues, and the 4th one is on its way. And he's made tons of comics. So this book is definitely going to land in your lap at some time in the near future. So check it out. George,
thanks for coming to my panel in San Diego, by the way.
Of course.
I appreciate that. He was supporting. Awesome. He was supporting in the audience. Greatly appreciate that, George.
If you could do a quick social media shout out where people can find you, and then we'll.
So I'm living at Blue Sky most often these days. So George W. O'Connor over there, as we talked about, there are 5 of us. Mm-hmm. So the W is there to help separate it.
You get that double rolling,
Yeah. So that's mostly where I live. If people want to check out what I create comics wise, homelesscomics.com is where you can go. You can download free previews of the issues and order them off of the site. And yeah, those are the 2 main ways to check me out. And I'm very much looking forward to Plastic City because I was denied my Johnny and Keith hugs this weekend. So now that's going to be stored up.
Yeah, right.
Right on.
Awesome. Well, good to see you, George. And
thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks at Plastic City.
Absolutely. Very much looking forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right,
and Harry, good luck in your recovery.
You seem great though. You seem like you're back at 100%. We're like all like, I'm like,
I took a nap this afternoon, dude. Like, I'm a gentleman of a certain age. I take it.
I'm jealous.
I am jealous too. All right, George, have a good one. And
Take care, guys.
Have
a good night.
All right,
bye.
Later. Awesome.
I fucking love George. He's the best. He's just the best. He's such a kind guy, a great soul, awesome comic creator.
Yeah, he is. Have you read the early issues of Vampire on Mars?
Yeah, I read issues 1 and 2, and I love it. It's so the art style was a little different from something I expected of that kind of story, but I liked it, and I kind of got on board with it real quick. It's fun, it's quirky, it's the closest so it's walking the line where I think if you were like a modern age manga reader, you could easily pick up this book and love it. So, but it's still very much a comic book. And so I think it walks that fine line where like it can kind of appease both, Oh,
awesome. I love to hear that. So, all right, cool. So guys, check it out. The link's in the chat. If you're watching tomorrow, it is in the description of the video. Check it out. It just launched. It's got 18 days to go. So you have time to get this one, and you can get the whole series at once. So,
and it's scientifically backed too. It's
scientifically
proven,
backed by scientists. Right. All right, our second guest is in the back room, the green room here, new to the show
going.
His name's Rick Piper, and I believe his company is Cross Comics. So,
howdy, Rick Piper. Let's do this.
Yeah. Without further ado, here's our second guest, Rick Piper. What's up, Rick?
Not much. Yourself?
Hey, not much, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Great.
Now, did you happen to be at any of the 2 Comic-Cons happening this past weekend at all? Or
no, I didn't. Unfortunately, I live in Canada, And
Oh,
it's
okay.
a
Well,
bit-
there you go.
Now that doesn't mean I can't get to those cons. It's just a little bit more difficult.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have my own car. Although
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
be at a con. I'm going to be at a con in. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to be at the Hamilton Comic Con this coming September.
Oh,
Near the end of December. I've
Have
got
you
my own
vended
booth.
at any of the Comic Cons in the Canadian area? Are they good ones?
They're not too bad.
Okay.
I've went to Toronto Comic Con once as an attendee, as well as Niagara Falls Comic Con once as an attendee. Unfortunately, it costs a lot for booths, and I don't have that money. The money's not rolling in at the moment. So, I do 1 or 2 cons a year, I have traveled for a couple cons before, like there's my book's a Christian book, faith-based.
Okay.
So there's a con in LA called Alpha Omega Con. It's a Christian Comic Con, and I've went there twice.
Oh wow, they have those now too, huh? Wow.
Yeah. So the first time I went there, I wasn't on YouTube yet, and all that. So I went there. I went there by bus and back by bus.
Wow.
So that was nice experience.
How long of a ride was that for you? Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Rick. How long of a bus ride is it for you?
About 3 days. 3 days there, 3 days back.
Oh my god.
Wow, dude, that's such dedication, man. Wow, that's so awesome, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the first time I went, I didn't know anybody, so I just rented a dorm room, rented a bed in a dorm room type thing, And it was after that, it's like, okay, next time I go anywhere like this, I'm renting a hotel room because I snore, and somebody's waking me up in the middle of the night telling me, "Stop your snoring, you snore." I'm like, I can't help that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's wild.
Exactly.
Well, Rick, it's awesome to have you on the show. I was going to say, normally, I don't think you've never been on the show before. So, as a first-time creator, we'd love to find out a little bit more about what put you on the path of wanting to make comics. And I'm actually a little bit more fascinated also about bringing your Christian faith into it a little bit too. If you can kind of, answer one and then the other.
Yeah, well, they sort of tie in. So
tell me about it.
As a kid, I grew up watching, superhero cartoons, Super Friends, Spider-Man, like the 67 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I've watched, all the, most of the cartoons afterwards, I even watched, the Batman live action, Wonder Woman, Incredible Hulk back from that day and age.
Yeah, so you grew up in like the 70s and 80s, like us.
Yeah. I was born in 73, so,
Oh, yeah. So you're in our wheelhouse then.
Yeah. I know. I look a lot younger than I
You got good genes, kid.
Yeah.
You're looking great.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah. But so I became a Christian around age 7. My mom became a Christian around about 3 years later when I was 10. And I got to go into a Christian camp, and they had my mom and me differ on this detail, but I'm pretty sure this is the right way. They had some Christian Archies in the souvenir shop and all that. My mom bought them.
Really?
Yeah, there's like about 10 of them. Al Hartley did them. But yeah, I know. But my mom bought them to try and start to get me to read more, because I wasn't really into reading and all that. So that got me into reading, regular comic books, the regular Archies, and then eventually I'm not sure whether it was because I found out Archie had superheroes, and I'm not sure whether it was them coming out first. DC did a line called Impact Comics.
Yeah, I remember those.
Which was the Archie superheroes, or whether it was around Superman dying that I ended up going to the comic shop and start, buying, the superhero comic books.
There was like the Fly,
the Shield, Jaguar, Comet,
the Comet,
Black
I
Hood.
remember those. Yeah, I didn't know for the longest time that those were Archie characters until
it's definitely amazing. It's amazing to know that Archie had superhero characters before Archie came along.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Like, yeah, I never.
They
knew
should
that
really
until
tap
later
back
on.
into that with the superhero craze.
They're trying.
They've done every few years.
They've done every few years, but it's not their big selling market. They're known more for Archie.
That would have been my like if I was writing for Riverdale, that would have been my subplot. All these superheroes running around.
Well, they did in Riverdale. I never watched it, but I did hear they introduced the Black Hood into it.
Oh, did they?
Really?
Interesting.
Okay.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I never watched the show, but I saw a couple episodes.
I watched the first episode. I watched the first episode, or started watching the first episode, and turned it off. It was just and then just to show my mom how bad it was, I showed her, and I ended up watching the full first episode. She went left halfway through the first episode, and then maybe I could get through this. And then I started watching the second episode. I couldn't get through it.
Did you ever watch?
Terrible. Go on,
did you ever watch David and Goliath growing up as a kid? Or
yeah, I watched David and Goliath. Hey, Davey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
But anyways, to continue on, so I started reading, the mainstream superhero comics, and then I thought to myself, "There's no Christian superheroes out there," I had started listening to Christian music, like Christian rock and all that, Petra and all that. So okay, I'll create them, and then it snowballed.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, is there any religious? I mean,
there are a couple other companies out there. There's a couple other companies out there.
You consider
now.
Like Nightcrawler, though? No, I meant for Christian
characters.
Superheroes. Characters, isn't that like? I know.
Well, I guess you could call maybe Captain America, Nightcrawler,
right?
Yeah,
like he was, but he was actually like really,
because Cap is Christian, right? But Nightcrawler was Catholic because of the European descent,
right?
Roman Catholic.
You got Jewish, a couple of Jewish characters,
but most of the time you're not hearing about their faith or whatever. Or
what about Derek? Isn't Matt Murdock?
He's Catholic too.
Yeah.
If it's of Euro descent, it's usually on the Catholicism side. If it's of American descent, old American descent, it's usually on the Christian side. At least that's what I've experienced and seen.
Yeah, but not really Christ-centered. I don't try and bash people over the head in my comics. I've had like a couple atheists read it. That don't mind Christians and all that, and they're like, hey, it's fine by me. It's like, I'm not sure whether you guys know who Tank Farrad is or not, but
doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we've been friends for almost since I got into the community, and he's an atheist, and he's like, hey, this book is good. I've only ever heard good reports. Maybe I'm not listening.
That's good. I mean,
that's good to hear, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's a compliment to your writing that you're not like being pretentious with the Christian messaging. If you could tell a story without shoving it down someone's throat, that's always the best way to tell a story. I think. I don't know.
Right. You want to weave the salty. I think you want to make the fact that his religion is a characteristic, not the point.
Exactly.
Right. And so I was going to say, to that point, could you give us a little bit of an insight, like the elevator pitch, I guess, on the Canadian Shield, so we can find out a little bit more about your character?
Okay.
And how you conceived him.
Well, first of all, you see him behind me here. That is
him right there.
Life-size Sandy. He is 8 foot tall, built like a brick house. He is a native Canadian, born in the early 1800s. He is transported through time to modern day by God, and then. There's a suit created by the Canadian government in the future that gives Superman like abilities. God takes it from the future back to our modern day. And now he's transported up into the middle of northern Ontario, in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to give him culture shock, and the suit appears exactly where he is. An angel appears to him, says, put on the suit and go south. So he's going to eventually back where the city that he started in, which is Hamilton, where I live. So that's a bit of a journey. So he ends up putting the suit on and discovers his abilities and all that, and he's a little fascinated by that and all that, and then the fact that he's out of time. He gets told that you're like 200 years away from where you were or when you were. So, and then that's the first issue. Also, in the first issue, it ends up saving somebody who's trying to commit suicide. because they just think they're a bad person. And he says, no, God loves you. You have a reason to live. You don't have to kill yourself. You're not that bad. God died for you. And it sort of ends there, ambiguous to what happens to that guy. And then in the second issue, we start facing villains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
For some of the villains that he faces.
The first one guy's name is Toxico. He was a guy that was brought up by a very strict dad, and the mom just went along. Like, the dad was ex-military, so he was very stringent, and he sort of had his son's life planned out. And then I don't get into all of his backstory in the comic, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it too much.
But unfortunately, there's not enough. It's only in floppy size. But he ends up basically at odds with his dad. He's got to find, when he's in college, finds a girl that he likes, wants to marry her. His dad's like, no. And then he tells his dad to take a hike. So he's left on his own, and he ends up borrowing some money from some mafia type people, goons, and he's not able to pay it back. So they end up making an example of him, take him out somewhere near a toxic waste dump, shoot him. He ends up falling in the toxic waste, and he's just there for like 3 or 4 months, soaking it all in, just alive, but just barely. And then he finally rises, and he's really disfigured and all that. So he comes out, and he's got, some abilities, and and then he can create his own like weaponry that shoots toxic waste and all that stuff.
That's cool.
So that's the first villain. And then the second villain, who's really going from being a villain, ordinary citizen, to villain, because he's at this power plant, and there's come a leak, and because he's a janitor there, he interacts with everything, and then the chemicals, he ends up being able to absorb the various energies and then release them in various different ways. And one of the ways, you don't see it on screen, but just before Canadian Shield gets there, is he's in an argument with a coworker or somebody who works at the plant, and he gives that the death stare, like you look at somebody who looks can kill. Well, in this case, he looked and did kill. And then he's just unremorse and doesn't want to pay for his crimes.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool artwork. Can you talk about the art? Do you do everything on the book?
No, I that one. We'll go up to this first part. I'll say about that last page there later. No, I do art myself, but I'm not the best. It's gotten me through to almost now. But I hired an artist. His name's Efren Crespo. He's in Massachusetts.
He's an
but I've done all the coloring myself. And you've heard of Hero Shack, Chris?
Yeah, we know
Levitch. He did the cover for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we know Chris and Diana.
Yeah,
really well.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
oh, that's cool. Let me cut and paste this so people
actually, because I was gonna say, I was just trying to think of all the creators that are like of faith in the comics, and do you know Jack Holder by any chance, Rick?
The name doesn't sound familiar at all.
I was gonna say he put together an anthology called Why Faith, which actually I was a part of, although I don't typically make Christian or faith comics. It was just cool to be a part of that collective. I was gonna say I'd love to introduce you guys, because you'd probably hit it off.
Oh yeah, I try and hit it off with anybody. I'm not sure whether you know who John Dillard is.
John Dillard. That rings a bell too, actually.
He has the character the Buckler.
No, I don't know.
Actually, that does ring a bell.
Does it ring a bell?
Does ring a bell. I think I've seen it. Maybe C2E2.
I'm not sure. He just did, or he's on the campaign. He was the artist for Yellow Flash's book, Golden Patriot.
Golden Patriot. I don't even know if I've seen that one. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have, because that Yellow Flash doing it. I thought you guys might have.
Well, I've heard of that. That's a YouTube channel, right? A
commentator, whatever, on.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really watched it.
Okay.
But
I'm not familiar.
I've heard of it.
I'm in my own bubble.
Yeah, same.
I get it.
Yeah. But anyways, like so yeah, no, this looks cool, man. I just put the link in the chat here for everybody to check out.
Yeah.
So you're doing a GoFundMe or Fund My Comics. I haven't used that platform yet. Have you is this your first campaign on there? Is it
yes and no. A couple years ago when I was doing my second campaign for Canadian Shield 2 and another character I have called Snowdrift, her first book, I had did a thing on Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic was just coming out then. So I figured I'd throw it up on there, see how it did. It really didn't do that well, but I had just did a campaign over on Indiegogo. So it's like
it seems like it's a good platform. I like that. I read up on it. It looks like it, like they give you you give you more of your money. Their fee that they take is a lot less than other platforms, which is pretty cool.
That's for sure.
I just don't know if they have the viewership yet. Like
well, they're starting to get it.
I was kind of waiting to see them get a little bigger before I.
No, I am thinking of doing a Kickstarter after and having a low goal. Like I've done Kickstarter a couple times.
Yeah, like a second chance kind of thing.
Sort of. I've done, like I said, I did Kickstarter a couple of times, but I've never actually gotten my goal, so it's been, I never fully funded, unfortunately.
Well, if you have like a low goal, you might be able to do it, like Kickstarter.
So, that's now that you can do under 100, I'm thinking, maybe 100, $200 I'll do on Kickstarter, and I'll advertise as much as I can, but that's after my Fund My Comics. The Fund My Comics is the first one, because there is a lot bigger crowd on Kickstarter, and I recognize that, but I think you got to fund first and fulfill and all that for people to know over there to know and trust you. Like I've done three other comics technically, and everybody's always got my stuff. I'll admit the first campaign was a bit late. I had a hard time getting the money off of Indiegogo.
I haven't had that issue with them. Like I've done a few campaigns with them.
Well, I raised the money in American funds. And
that might be it because the currency.
And I had a problem getting it. Like other people I knew who were Canadian raised did the same thing and had no problem. But
interesting.
But my friend John Dillard, who was talking about, we sent it to his bank account and then he sent it to me through PayPal. So I was able to.
Luckily, that worked out.
Yeah. And then
nothing worse than raising the money and making your goal and not being able to get the money. I mean,
that was definitely a pain because and that made me a couple months late in getting the product out to people when I said, but as soon as I got the money, it was printed and I'm always on YouTube doing stuff, so I'm there for people to see that I'm
What's your channel? If people might not know what your channel
Cross
is.
Comics.
Cross Comics. Okay, gotcha.
And I was going to say, as long as you communicate to your audience, if you're late on the book, people will understand. You just have to, make sure that you communicate and let them know where you're at with it. And they're very forgiving. Even with my first campaign, I was late significantly on certain deliveries, and I was communicative, so people were understanding.
Yeah, and also anybody backing my campaign, they get there's a second smaller book on it, an Ashcan, Canadian Shield Ashcan. So that's written by me and done by Alpha Proto. Again, probably don't know who he is, but he's doing the art for that. So,
awesome.
So anybody that backs, it's going to get that 4-page Ashcan.
Oh, nice.
Would I be correct to assume there's no Hellboy cosplayers at a Christian Comic-Con, or?
I'm not sure. I guess there could be. There are cosplayers, but you've got to be decent looking, modest, or however you want to say it.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
So, a bare chest might not go over well, even if it's a guy.
Well, I would assume the fact that
I would be fascinated to attend a Christian Comic-Con just to see what it's like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it's in LA. There's one coming up. It's coming up again in September. I'm not sure how close you guys are.
Well, we're in Massachusetts with your artist there.
So 3,000 miles
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
We're 3,000 miles away.
About the same as me because like I'm on what would be your East Coast.
So what would be the most famously or best known Christian Comic Con? Like, what's it called?
Well, probably Alpha Omega Con.
Alpha Omega. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'd be curious what the. I'm like you, Johnny. I'd be fascinated in what.
I'm
goes
really
on
fascinated
there.
by it because
Like,
and I'm not
like, do they have
disparaging to
cosplayers? Do they have panels? And what would the panels be? And like,
there's
just the
a couple
environment.
panels. They have a website, alphaomegacon.com.
I'll have to check it out sometime and just see.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I mean, I've always some people just like kind of write off Christian comics or faith comics, but you never want to do that because you never know what talent that you're turning away. You never know what type of experience that you could get that just because if you have a closed mind, you wouldn't, experience it or go about it.
And it's not that I have a closed mind, Johnny.
No, and I wasn't trying to say that either about anybody, just to clarify.
Yeah, no, but like first.
I was just going to say, just to kind of make a quick connection, Keith, real quick. I was just going to say, the Young Bucks. I'm a big fan of the Young Bucks. They are Christian AF.
Oh, really? I didn't know
even say that.
Oh, really? You see that? You surprised the fuck out of you, right? You never know. That's why you never know. You always want to keep an open heart to whatever's out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the one thing I like when you hear Christian comics. Like my first thought is like, am I gonna be preached to? Like, and I'd be willing to like give the comic a shot, just in case. Like, but like that's my first gut reaction when I hear Christian comic, rather than just
that's the thing
comic.
that I'm trying. That's the thing that I'm trying to avoid because I don't want to be that like that. And the other thing that
that's
when
good
I
to
decided
hear, though.
to
That's
do,
like Johnny was saying earlier, the way you weave it into the story and a subtlety says a lot about.
It's probably not as subtle as some would like, but it's not as in your
just
face.
speaking your truth.
Others.
You're just speaking your truth, dude, and that's the creative story you're trying to tell. So that's admirable in and of itself.
And the other thing that I decided too, really, when I wanted to do comics too, is there was lots of Christian comics out there, but most of them are angels or demons or they're Bible stories rehashed. So this wasn't something that I wanted to do. Like there's 20 different comic books with all the various things.
I mean, what's that thing? There's a room for every kind of comic out there, and every kind of comic has an audience. So
I love that you led with the fact that he was a Canadian superhero first. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing too, because we're not for a lack of really awesome Canadian heroes out there, and it's cool that you added another one to that pantheon.
He looks pretty. He looks pretty badass too. Actually, it's like a Space Ghost type character. He
does.
Yeah,
cool.
like I said, he's 8 foot tall, built like a brick house.
Yeah, I'd be grabbing bricks
even outside of the outfit. You don't want to mess with him,
right? Yeah, right. I mean, I'm only 5'6". I get crushed.
He's like a Jack Reacher type.
He's like a guy that sells coats at Fan Expo.
He crushed me.
And hello, Joshua and Herman.
Shout out to Joshua and Herman. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching the show and watching Rick's.
Yeah, they're a couple of my fans. They're usually my.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, we hope you enjoy it
and supporting Rick.
Yeah,
and, his book and everything. Rick, this looks great. So one more thing, I put the link in the chat for people to check out. It's also going to be in the description of the video tomorrow once this is live on the channel. So if you guys haven't backed, he's got 32 days to go. He's over the goal, which is awesome.
Congrats on that.
Always use more money, to help with the campaign.
Yeah, help with the campaign, help with other books to come, because the more I'm funded, the more books can come faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing. My main problem is the resource of money. which is probably most of our problems.
That's all of our problems.
Rick, before we let you go for
the root of all evil, Johnny.
For our next guest comes
no,
on.
the love of all it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. Money itself.
Oh, touche.
There you go. I like that. Touche. I like that.
Yeah,
right.
He told you, Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, look at you trying to expect money.
And it's not actually, and it's not even the love of money is the root of all evil, all kinds of evil. In other words, other things can be the root of evil of other
kinds. An establishment in Cape Cod that only deals in $2 bills.
Yeah. So Rick, where else can people find you? Like, what's your social media links? Let our audience know where people can check out more.
Of course, I'm here on YouTube, Cross Comics. I am on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, as Cross Comics, or it's the @Comics Cross, with a underline thing. And I'm on Facebook. I have a page there, a group there.
Oh, cool.
I'm on a whole bunch of different social medias.
So just Google Cross Comics and we'll find you.
Most likely. It's like, like when I first got out on the YouTube, I found out a lot of people were using Twitter to, create DM groups to invite people on. And I had tried Twitter once before. I got on and like, this is just stupid. And it's like, and then I found out everybody's using, oh Lord, I gotta create a Twitter account. So it's like I figured, you need the social media to get out there, let people know who you are and all that. Get recognized.
You have to. Like, you made a comic and you have to get it out there, and that's the only way.
100%.
Besides going to conventions that I know of to do it, is to let people know you're out there and making books and all that fun stuff. But Rick, it was great to meet you, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to share your book with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come on.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
And good luck with the campaign. And we know you already hit, so that's good that you're there. But we look forward to more issues of the Canadian Shield.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be back in here December or January with a different book called Snowdrift, her second issue.
Yeah, just hit me up
We'd
and
love
we'll
to
see if
have
we
you.
can get you on the schedule and everything.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right,
nice meeting
Great
you.
to meet you,
Yeah,
man.
nice to meet you.
God bless.
Yeah, have a
Show
great night.
coming up soon.
You too.
All right. Good night, Rick.
Good night.
Oh, what did I just do?
Hey, George is back. I was just a cameo of George.
Yeah, there we go. I told you I'm half asleep here. All right. So, Rick,
comics
cool.
come from all walks of life, and that's a great example
dude.
of it right there.
Like Amy said, this is something that was interesting. The Christian community is a huge demographic that isn't really marketed to with comics. That's true, but
comics come from here, no matter who you are.
Absolutely.
And I liked
comics come from here.
I liked Amy Grant. She was cool. I think I had a little crush on her.
I liked you working for a coat Nazi at Fan Expo. I love that. I want to hear.
Oh my god!
I love that for you.
I love
that. Can I just tell you real quick with time?
Yeah, you got time.
So when we first
couple minutes.
When we first moved in, so he was on the Friday. We're setting up on a Friday, so he was loading his fixing his table, and there's like a curtain screen wall, whatever. He's hanging up coats on the wall. Behind the wall was another vendor hanging up his stuff, and this guy was knocking over the guy's stuff, on the other side.
Oh,
he's like, dude, what are you doing? You're knocking over my crap. What are you doing? He's like, well, this is my wall too. I need a space for my coats and stuff, and they're arguing. It's like you're an effing a-hole, to the guy that I was working for. It's like, well, dude, de-escalate. And they're arguing the whole time. Like, whoa, what a jerk, like this. Be more gentle so you won't knock his crap over, and then they had a huge argument. And then the guy
applied. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so this guy and the Japanese assistant went for a walk, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't want this guy to think that I'm associated with these two, So I walked around when they left, and I'm like, hey, dude, I saw the whole thing. Sorry that happened. He's not very professional. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm only the weekend help. Don't hate me. He's like, no, there's only one jerk on that side, and you even know who it is, So I appreciate you coming over. Shakes my hand, thanks, dude. Thanks. It's not you. It's just Thank you. I just want to make sure that we like I'm on your side on this one.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
god.
whatever.
This guy wouldn't
What were
even
you
make
saying?
it. If he applied for my show, I would lose the
Oh
application.
yeah.
I wouldn't even
he's-
let like
he's-
a
yeah.
vendor like that into my show. Like it's crazy.
Very
So,
intense.
but
He's
anyway,
like Harry, when someone's trying a coat on, make sure you say you look great, you look awesome. Like, no, I'm not lying. I'm not gonna
lie to the
be
guy.
not myself. Well, no, I want to be authentic. You know what I mean? Like, not say something that I wouldn't say normally. You know, I'm like, oh, dude, like I like that, or
Harry?
that's good color on you. I'll say, yeah.
I'll tell you what Steven Spielberg told Shia LaBeouf on the set of Transformers. There's
Okay.
a time to have an opinion, and there's a time to sell cars.
yeah.
I guess so.
All right.
I guess so.
I saw the private chat, so George wants to come back in. And
Yeah, I
hang
mean,
out. saw
why
that.
not,
Okay.
right?
All right. Yeah. Perfect.
He's hanging out.
So
Why not?
bring him back in.
Dun,
Hey,
dun,
George.
dun. The return of George O'Connor.
Uh-oh, is he
No,
offline?
he's muted.
Okay. Oh,
Uh-oh.
one
He's
sec.
working on it. He's working on it.
And then we also got our third guest in the wings here.
Ha!
Yeah, there he is. All right.
Oh, there he
yeah, George,
Well-
thanks for coming in and hanging out. And you could offer your 2 cents as well, since you've vended at both shows.
Yeah, like I said, it's like I said, this is not a choice any of us want. Like I want the show to do well because I want the show to do well, and I want my friends to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
We're
so
all in
I,
that
so I,
same
and
boat.
I, and also like like you guys were probably wondering what was going on in Boston. I was wondering what was going down in Mohegan.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. So
100% it was that.
let's bring in our third
bring in
co-host, who was
Vaughn.
also at Terrificon, and I'm curious to hear what his experience
I
was as
ran
well.
into this guy all weekend long. And I
There he
loved-
is, Vaughn
Yeah,
Coleman. What's
there
up,
he
Vaughn?
is. We survived. We made it, Vaughn.
I loved it, man. I thought it was I
Oh,
will tell you
your voice isn't wrecked, which I was I thought it would be.
You
No,
know,
because he's indestructible.
oh well, I don't know about that. I don't. Another day might have. Today I was slow, and then I started picking up. I was just kind of doing a lot of of the not fun kind of tasks, like okay, updating people, blah blah blah, applying for another show because that show went great. You know,
Awesome,
I really liked it. I barely got, which is good, was good for the record. I was hoping I'd be too busy to spend too much money because there were too many creators I was a fan of. And so I'm glad I was too busy to go and spend my entire everything on Claremont.
Yeah, honestly, I only saw
I
you
just
once
finished-
or twice. The whole
Yeah, because I
weekend.
just the last day, because you were right next to Polito. The last day, I was
yeah,
like,
I
you
was
know
gonna
what?
bring that up.
I've
right
heard
next to
about him
Brian
forever.
Polito.
I'm like, let's go talk to him because I'm friends with I haven't read it yet, but I have the book that they all did together. And I was like, you know what? Let's get it signed by all of them. And Brian was the last one. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, we talked and it was great. It was a good show.
Oh my god, I
really
gotta
good show.
tell you, I was next to Brian Polito, and I thought it was gonna be an awful spot, but it was good. His lines weren't too crazy. I got to talk to him and his wife most of the weekend, and what a great guy, but also a good model for an indie creator. The dude's I didn't know this, but he owns a Comic-Con in Arizona. Never
Really?
knew that. Yeah,
didn't
isn't
know
that
that
crazy?
Which one?
And I was talking to him about it. I was like, oh, is it, he said it's very comic centric. And another crazy thing, he has employees. What comic creator has employees?
One that can afford
paying
them.
salaries. This guy's, oh my God, it was crazy, but such a nice dude. Really, talk to him
Yeah,
about
I mean,
anything, which is
I'll
great.
confess, I've never read his work directly.
I gotta say the
but-
same. My wife loves Lady Death, but I never really read it. I respect the property, but
Yeah,
never-
but I know of Bad Girl books, I'll have to. And I remember, And I remember, but I remember there was a stay-at-home Comic-Con. This is right around the time I knew I just had decided I wanted to start doing comics, and I was watching that and him giving advice. He was like, have a mailing list, and I told him, I was like, years ago, I took your advice and I built up my mailing list, and I used it today. So
that's
that was good.
awesome. What was so me, Johnny, and Vaughn were at Terrificon, all in different spots, kind of.
Mhm.
What did you
really?
like?
Yeah.
What do you think of the traffic of the show? Because you've been to Terrificon in the past, right?
Never as a creator.
So this is your first time as a creator, right?
So I have people like, well, what do you think compared to last year? I'm like, the fan experience was cool every year. My book was crowdfunding last year, but it wasn't ready in time for the show. So now I look at cons through a very different lens.
Right. Once you work one, it's a whole different experience.
Well, here's the thing: I had worked them, but I had never worked Terrificon, but I'd worked not selling my own stuff, but I had for years worked with like at Michael Golden's booth. I was I would like get people over to check out books and all that. So that was not new territory. In fact, I'm glad I had all that experience. So that way I knew when I set up at a con, you don't just sit there, that you have to, engage.
Yeah.
Because Renee would be like, you aren't like that person walked by and pitched, so I'd always be like, my case. So now I'm like, no one can do that to me. So,
I'm getting flashbacks now. Harry, get on that guy. He's walking by. I'm like, oh, sell him that coat.
Yeah, these two guys, Vaughn, were at Fan Expo the same weekend, so we were like comparing notes on crowds and stuff.
Hopefully, it's
same crowd though. Same crowd flow from the sounds of it. Friday was kind of dead. Saturday was unbelievable at both shows, and then
Saturday
was kind of.
Because Friday, I was like, I'm getting a lot of people are just walking right by me, and it was a decent, and it was because
everyone's running to the.
They were running, and now it was like a double the size, and I was actually able to stop people. And then I had a few come back on Sunday, not as many as I hoped, but I did have some stop by on Sunday. So
what was the ticket price for Terrificon to get in?
I don't know.
Did you know, Johnny? Was it like 50?
I don't know.
Because I think Boston's like 65 to get in per ticket. So I'm wondering, like, if you're a fan, like, if you go to both, you know what I mean? Like, would you go to?
I know that I looked at some of the celebrity prices. Holy crap!
I know everything's gone up
through the roof, dude.
Yeah, right.
Like I looked at, because I always like go over there to look at them to see how they look and stuff. And
right, yeah.
I looked at Tyler Hoechlin, who played Superman on the last TV show, The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
He looked good. I mean, but I was like, selfie, $100.
Exactly.
I was like, what the fuck?
That's that
like,
Teen Wolf audience, because he was on Teen Wolf too as well.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was on that. I only knew him from Superman and that Linklater movie he did. Everybody Wants Some. He was in that.
Oh, right.
I think at Boston, McGregor and Hayden Christensen did a team up for 500 something, I believe. Like, who would do that? Like, I don't know.
Insane, man. These prices, especially
I would do that for the Supernatural cast because I'm a big fan.
Right. Well, yeah, they were there too at Boston.
I did talk to Brian Posehn, and I gave him a copy of Mighty Mascots, which I thought was cool. He could care less that I gave it to him. He was like that Brian Posehn kind of like, yeah, man. You know, like
Vaughn,
how
did
he's
you have
like
any...
just...
Sorry, Keith, didn't mean to step out. I was going to say, Vaughn, did you have any good celebrity run-ins?
Actually, I did. So my buddy Zach, who I was tabling with, who has a cover for Issue 3, So I know he did.
He was on the show a long time ago.
Yeah. Zach, we're working on something now. Actually,
I saw it. Actually, it looks good.
Yeah,
I saw the original. He's carrying it on the floor, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah. So
you have it with you or no? Can you share it?
Actually, I should have like unpacked. Hang on, I could go down and grab the original art.
I mean, if you feel like you want to run to go grab it, I mean, it really is an awesome piece.
Yeah, you know why not?
The show.
You know why? Especially because it is available on the campaign. We'll say
unless you can send me a link to it. Do you have a link to the picture of it?
It's downstairs, man. I could just
grab it. Go grab it. We'll talk Terrificon in the meantime, dude. Yeah. It looks so good. When I saw I think it was on my way to the booth on Sunday or Saturday, he had it with him, and man, what an awesome piece. He's such a good artist.
Yeah.
That cover is dope. I definitely go grab it. People are gonna love seeing it, dude.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I will say, Doug Jones had walked by the first thing he was drawing, and I was like, you missed him. He goes, Doug Jones. He goes, that guy. Like, if I were to have anyone play my character, it'd be him. And I go, you should tell him next time he walks by. Next day, he's walking by. I'm like, Zach, showtime. And then he's like, oh, I love doing this. If I could have anyone play you, it would be there. And he goes like, oh, great. He was so nice.
Did you guys get a Doug Jones hug?
Oh,
he didn't, because he was on his way to work. Is he known for those? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's known for
Yeah.
hugging.
All right.
One of the
whispering in your ear.
Yeah, right.
Be right back.
Yeah.
I will.
you can go grab that piece. It's really.
I had
it's
a
nice
funny
piece.
run-in. Not too funny, but like Mitch Pileggi was because the way the aisle we were in was the aisle that all the celebrities traveled in to get to their booths.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And Mitch Pileggi walked by me, and I know everyone loves him as Skinner and X-Files, but I was like, shocker, man. And from Wes Craven. And he turned around and he came back and he's like, I love that role, but I can't watch myself in it. I'm too over the top.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Good. That's why it's good.
Awesome. I love when they share things like that.
Yeah,
I met.
That's why you gotta have a camera ready at all times.
I met the guy who
Record it.
plays Phil Coulson on Avengers movies, right?
Yeah.
And this was like right when Marvel first Avengers didn't even come out yet. And it was in San Diego in like a 4-minute window. I met Matt Groening, Joss Whedon, Dan Fogler, and him. Like it was just crazy. That was just something was happening, like near the Marvel booth. So I first saw him on a show, The Shield.
Yeah,
I know he was on Agents of Shield, but he was on a show called The Shield, where he was
and
an awesome serial killer.
Those 2-parters are amazing.
Those 2 episodes are so fucking good. And so when I took a photo with him, I leaned in. I go, dude, you were so fucking hard on the Shield. Like, and he goes, and he leans back into me. He hadn't done Agents of Shield yet.
Yeah.
And he goes, the best TV I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, because you know what? A lot of when you talk to celebrities, and much the same way we talk about conventions, they don't want to play favorites. They don't want to really divulge the truth. I could feel how genuine he was when he said that was the best TV he's ever done. You could see it when you watch those 2 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Those
2 episodes should have won an Emmy because the Dutch. I love The Shield. I'd put that as a top 5 show of all shows of all time. When Dutch trying to understand a serial killer's mind was so fucking good. Just the conversations they had and writing,
and the things he did to try to get into that headspace.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that show.
Yeah,
Amy's got some ticket prices for Terrificon up here if you want to pop it up.
Yeah, so let's see. Okay. Terrificon ticket price. 1-day adult pass is $42.47, $47.52 on Sunday or Saturday, and Sunday was
$42. 3-day was $120.
So
that's not bad.
It's cheaper than you said. Expo was $65.
Yeah, for a Saturday ticket, I think. I believe so. Yeah, 65 for.
I remember that. Oh man, remember when Mitch was only $25 to get in? That was like.
You know what the difference is though between the 2 shows is free parking.
Yeah, right.
Not to use a Gary.
Yeah, what was the parking prices for you, Harry, in Boston?
35, but that guy graciously paid for me for all 3 days, so it's good.
That seems like a good thing about now. That seems cheaper because I remember 35? Paying like $70 back. When I was doing Boston Con.
Maybe multiple days though, if you're thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Maybe the lots are cheaper now overall or something.
You got that piece, Andy? All right, here we go. Let's make
hang on. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
Embiggen him.
Embiggen him. Chuck.
Oh wow, look at that.
And then here's the colored version.
Oh wow.
So now cool. Is he the regular artist on the book, Vaughn?
No. We're doing another book together though.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a sci-fi book, but he did that variant cover, and I make my variants limited. Good
way to do it.
So this one is available now, but I wanted him to do a cover with all the villains on it, and he went above and beyond.
Zach looks. We had him on the show. I don't know how many years
ago. A little bit, yeah.
But I looked at his artwork. He is a good artist. Like I remember he was trying to find work. I think back when we had him on the show that year.
Now he's so busy. It's like he can't. You know what I mean?
That's good. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, but he's always looking for work. But yeah, he can definitely. He's busy as hell. He's just been building his following.
Not to go on a tangent here, but I guess more numbers for you for your number crunching. So on Saturday, on Friday, I took 12,052 steps, which equals to 4.6 miles. Saturday, I did. I took 13,000 steps. 13,845 steps. Just 5 miles. Like that's how crazy. That's how many times in a 12-foot space I walked around in circles or trying to sell coats. And then Sunday,
the guy couldn't even give you a
here?
free code or anything.
Oh, no, that'd be gracious of him. That'd be nice. So Sunday, 16,000 steps. That's like another 5. I was like, oh my god!
I wish I could have seen you work in this booth. I think I would have laughed my ass off. I wish
the Japanese girl was like, Harry, you look lighter. Do you think you lost some weight over the weekend? I'm like, I think I lost years off my life over the weekend. What are you talking about? Anyway, I don't want to. But I'm good. I'm
Harry,
recovering.
Biggest question though: would you do it again next year?
No. Well, I would do it again. But if I was selling my stuff or any of your stuff, or what, because I'd be proud to do that. This guy, I don't want to give him any more money.
Okay,
I don't blame you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, how about you, Vaughn, for business and foot traffic? How'd you do?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can always do better, but I did pretty well. I did. If we're removing other costs, the best numbers I've ever done.
Okay.
I was very happy with it. And that's another thing too, is it's always especially when inherently everyone buying the book, unless there were a few people because I had a deal. If you're a Kickstarter backer, you get a free print of Zach's cover.
That's nice.
So I picked up a few from that, and then I had a few come over that had already backed it. But what's cool about it is that minus those people, everyone who gets it is a chance at them returning, and so that was big. But I was counting up. I'm like, okay, I'm happy with it. And I immediately applied for another con because I was like, nice. Yep, that's worth the drive.
That's good, man.
Obviously, it being in a casino resort, everything you eat and drink outside is hiked up. So, but here's the thing: this was always like a vacation con that I want to see how well I can do at. And I did well at it. And hopefully it's not at the same weekend as Boston Fan Expo, so I can do even better at it.
It is.
Well,
it is.
Next year, it's going to be the same again.
Why would they do it again?
My fucking exact reaction, kid. He literally
go back an hour and a half.
I'm choosing Terrificon.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Terrificon is my favorite convention. Even outside of that, it is my favorite convention.
Bingo, dude.
But I would go even if I lost money. But so the fact that I was like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. I didn't,
Yeah. One thing I noticed
sales
wise, I wanted to run by, and I don't know if you guys noticed this too. I noticed that my smaller selling stuff, cheaper stuff, was selling more, like stickers, the soda. Amy's 6x9 print. I was selling some comics, but I noticed that more of that stuff was selling. So I think a lot of people were spending, but they weren't spending like high dollar items. Did you guys notice that as well?
They were conservative with their dollars for sure, I think.
Here's the thing. I didn't have that much crazy stuff that I was selling.
Yeah.
But I noticed there were a fair amount, and I noticed it really depends on the show, but I noticed because I have issue 1 is 20, issue 2 is 10 for the main covers, and then we have limited covers. So I sold a few variants, but I never sell. I don't expect to sell, especially if it's someone who doesn't know the franchise. I don't expect them to spend higher for a variant. But I did sell a few variants, which was nice. But yeah, I noticed it was like half of them, even if it was only 10 for the next issue, still only went with issue 1, which I thought was interesting. But, I'm like, all right, well, when you want issue 2, that's more money. So hope that'll trickle. I would rather you give it to me now, but
yeah, right.
If you would rather have an unsigned copy and pay for shipping, that's on you. But I was
we had it was a funny story with me and Amy. There was a like a family that came by the table. I think I told you this story, Johnny. And it was like one of these, they were just grabbing everything. They would grab the sticker. They're like, oh my God, this is you. And they're laughing. And like, they grab like one of her prints. Like, oh my God, this is you. And they're laughing. And Amy goes to me, she goes, it'd be really hilarious if you open your wallet and like took some of
Dude, I know. No, that is what drives me. Dude, all right, like that is what drives me because I was.
That would be hilarious.
I try and be
really funny.
It, but like this time, like because after this one experience, I'm like much more like, because I remember having one time this guy reads my entire book.
Yep.
That happened to me once, yeah.
And he goes, "I like it," and then he leaves and comes back and goes, "I don't have money for it." So I'm like, I'm not letting this other guy. I'm like, you can like. I mean, obviously you can't, but I'm like, so are you going to buy the book? You just read the whole thing cover to cover. I'm like,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay. I'm like, but I can't imagine ever doing that to someone.
You should have a sign up, like read the first 3 pages. That's it.
Well, that's just, why does that need to be said?
Yeah, I've been vending for 15 years.
That doesn't need to be like, that's just basic, and it comes down to social. And I'm not trying to be mean.
3-page limit.
It just comes.
Yeah, right.
No, you can go through more than one, but to go through like the whole book, basically, even if it's half the book. No, which it was like both times page. I'm like, okay, this is not like, and to me that's crazy.
But you know what? You don't want that sale anyway because that guy's not going to be a fan. He's not going to be the guy who's the repeat customer. He's not the guy that's going to back you when the campaign launches. You know what I mean? So that
but the most frustrating part of that first time was they said, "I'm going to come back and buy it later," and they come back to tell me. I didn't call them over. They came back to tell me they can't afford my book anymore. And I was like, and the next time I was like, "Hey, you going to buy it this time?" And they go, "Okay," and then bought issue 2. So it worked out. But I'm like, if I never saw this dude again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you just totally got a free service.
Did that ever happen to you, George? Did anybody ever read your book right at your table, like the whole?
Which I'm fine with if you buy it.
I think at this point I've got the battle armor for this stuff.
Oh yeah.
That there absolutely was a time, Vaughn, where I was like as frustrated as you. Now I just find it hysterical.
Yeah, no, I mean, part of me kind of laughed, but I was also like, haha.
It's just like you all know at a convention, you find a spectrum of people.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yes.
I'm very much aware. And that's why I say when it comes down to that, that's why I said, it really is a social awareness thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be mean, but the kind of customers that do that, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but you can tell there's huge.
Actually,
they're there.
To my wife I missed this, but my wife was telling me that is another great thing about Brian Pulido. Like he had, like a Spectrum customer come up to him and he handled it so good. Like I was like,
wow,
you
always gotta be nice to these people too.
Yeah. And I was like, I gotta adopt this into my arsenal. But like, I guess the guy was, asking him about all his characters, like who they are, getting into like the weeds about his characters. And Brian said, you know what? He's like, I don't have time to get into all of that with you. But if you take this card, you can go to my website and you can find all the explanations there that you need. And the guy took it and walked away. And I was like, genius. That's awesome. I'm going to put that into my arsenal.
Oh, I didn't even think that is a good one.
It's a matter of having
that
patience,
isn't it?
Right? The patience to think that.
It's hard because it's hard to find the balance because this is the truth, and it's not even an intentional thing. But it's not. I learned it either. Where it's like you have to kind of have that thing to go. Listen, I'm here to do a job. I can't. Like I had that a couple of times where people go, I wouldn't buy a book, but then they start asking me a million questions about the process, and it gets to a point where I'm like, I am seeing other people walking by. Happily, if we're at a bar or something, because we're at a bar or something, I'm not trying to sell anything to you.
Yeah,
right. But it's like we're at a place of business. I know you're enjoying this. I have to. So sometimes I'll be like politely, like show body language. I'm like, I can't. And I've done that before. And then they go to the next person's table who doesn't have.
And they do the same.
No, but then that's like I remember at Garden State, I did that with someone. They go to the table next to me, talking to them, and you could tell the person's like. Mm-hmm. For like 40 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I made like a bunch of sales during that time, so it is work. It really is a lot of it is dealing with people. Because you never want to be just like, if you have a reputation as a jerk, not only that will stick with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will absolutely stick with you. If someone doesn't buy your book, don't be like angry about it,
Yeah, no, you can't, and that's great advice. Like I always said, like don't be offended by it. Like
no, because there's a bunch of other people that might get that money.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take it as a personal slight.
Right.
It's just like not everybody's into what you're writing.
Or
You know
they
what I
might
mean?
just they might be into it and just not like I'm sure there are 100 books on my to read list that I'm into that I can't get into because my backlog is because maybe at this moment in time I'm not feeling it, but years from now I might be feeling it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
There are books on my shelf that I know I'm going to read that I just haven't. I've had for years. I know I'm going to read them. And sometimes that's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. I've got 4 stacks upstairs, so I know.
I can't.
I know your pain.
You can't back all your friends either. That's another thing.
Yeah, right. We'll show your campaign here too in a second, Vaughn. Johnny, George, have you guys ever had to deal with that? Do you have anything? Is a way to handle that when that happens to you guys? Or?
I mean, Vaughn was, talking about his neighbor, like the time where, like, again, I've just turned it into a game because that's how I survived. Like I'm going to give this person nothing. Let's see how far they survive on me feeding them nothing. And you know what? And another shout out to the regulars. The number of times I've had friends, whether they knew it or not, come by and save me from those interactions. But I was just thinking in the grand scheme, one of the skills you learn from like table and convention is how to read people and how to meet them where they are. You know, like Johnny comes by my table, that's going to be like a big conversation. But if I get the vibe that somebody else is quieter and a little more, introverted, then, the sales pitch changes, the vibe changes, the volume changes, to meet them where they are. Cause the idea of like, look, I want you to have a good experience.
Yeah.
And and when we can talk back and forth, or you can quietly check out the book, ask me a question, I'll calmly answer it back and like meet you where you are. And I mean, I think you guys were talking about earlier about like, and Vaughn, when you were walking through conventions, I think walking through a convention as a civilian is the greatest learning experience for me, because I'm learning, I hate the carnival barker.
I don't anymore.
That
you
doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't. I know that guy. I am him.
Yeah.
That
doesn't care. That doesn't care. He doesn't care about me. He's just, he's trying to. He's throwing the net to see who he can pull in.
Well, but when they're at my table, I will be nice. Like then I can have a conversation.
Yes, it's. But that, like I said, we've all been near or verbally assaulted by the carnival barker. And it's, oh, Jesus, I just want to get away from you.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe because I know I need to be.
Yeah. You don't want the used car sales.
I want to be careful. I don't know how far I go. That's the thing. I can never know.
And that's why, I think more than anything, you find what feels comfortable for you, and then that will come off as comfortable and honest, and that, I think that's more than it. I mean, I remember this one guy, like he was a carnival barker, but he had a script, and that was just like,
that's too much.
This is where I tell you about the cover. This is where I tell you about the interior. This is where there is no conversation. There's no interest in the connection.
I have like a basic baseline version, but I'll change especially if I think this might appeal to this person, and sometimes that'll lead to a good conversation. I think like I generally have a thing, but often what I've done is I've been like, I have a comic I'd love to tell you about it, and it's like I'm good. Then okay, conversation is there. Have a good day. Whatever. If you don't want to be pitched to, why would I waste my time? Why would you waste your time listening? That's fine. I try and be polite about it.
It's that fine line, right? Like, because we all want to go home with less than we brought with us, but we also don't want to be the MFer that they're talking about, at the show.
Yeah, right.
Like, we don't want to be the reason someone goes, I'm not going near Artist Alley. They just treat me like an ATM.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Mr. Shushi in our chat to get some great comments here. Like
the last point, I just don't think I get what you're saying, but it's not the same when you're doing that. And you're kind of
there's a balance between like being the carnival barker and like I tend to let people come to the booth first before I even do anything, and I end up just I just have a conversation with them, and then if they open to my book and they're looking at it, then I'll go into my spiel.
I mean, comparing a car though to a comic sale is not different because I'm not selling a necessity. They're not going to leave without a car at the car. Well, I got to drive home. They can leave without my comic. So to me, I get what you're saying, but I just think you're comparing
the sensibility, like a car salesman. The second you're on the lot is all over you, and they don't give a shit about anything but selling you their car. That's what I'm saying. Like that kind of.
No, I totally get it, but it just doesn't be. Like I do get it, but it's also. It may not be the end of the world, but again, it's mostly a frustration thing. Like, at the end of the day, did I scream about it? We only brought it up because other guys are talking about things that annoy us. At the end of the day, are any of us like super livid? No, but it's fine to go, oh, this is the worst. But obviously, reading the room.
It happened to me at a show.
The worst.
When it happened to me, it was a small show, and it was like a show that was one room, and it was like very low attendance, and people that were there were just like bored, like
sentence. I was there.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
The present sentence. I just want to put kind of like a little bit of a pin on this by saying like there is no magic bullet, but my 3 kind of things are: 1 is to not chase people.
Yep.
Like you said, let them come to the booth and just say, hey, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if and if they happen to pick something up, you give a little bit of a pitch, 2 is to not care if they buy anything or not, right? If the more you not care, the better off you are, because you're not toiling, oh, I should have done this better, should have done that better. It's just they buy it or they don't buy it. It's the quality of the sale. It's the quality of the interaction. And 3rd is to thank people for their time. Because if they take at least a minute to stop and look at you, especially, and I've learned that when they're, when you're at San Diego and there's 150,000 people, and someone even takes a minute out of their
day to you instead of their
look at your table, exactly. To look at your table, you have to, even if they just drop the book, whatever, you have to thank them for their time, because that's a minute out of their day they didn't even have to fucking care. So to that point, those are the 3 major bullets for me. If you do those 3 things, I think you'll get through it unscathed.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I always call people over the table because, again, that's what I was taught, right?
Right, and that's just a different style.
Well, why do you guys not do that at all? Because
I used to. No. I used to be that guy. Me and Josh Dahl used to be those guys.
Oh, God, yeah. Josh was one of the worst. Like,
I wouldn't say worst. He's just good at it. He's good at it. Sometimes he's too good at it. That's the problem, right? So, and
maybe going too far, like, because I just noticed like other people typically around me won't do as well because they're not calling it anymore. And I'm not saying that to punch down. I'm just saying I noticed my approach tends to work. Doesn't mean it can't improve. That's why I'm looking for improvement. But you don't call out to people at all?
I do. No, I do. I do.
Okay. I was going to say.
So this is what I do. Like, because you've seen me do it, Vaughn, so I can't lie.
That's why I'm like, I'm waiting for the nuance here. Because I'm like,
but here's the nuance. Here's the nuance. So if I see somebody and they catch their eyes and they're walking, but they're still looking, I'll say, hey, come on over. Like that's.
Oh, that, yeah. If you want to say, but if you're just screaming at them.
Right. So before, because I am a boisterous individual, it was very easy for me to fall into the, hey, come check us out, or yell at people to kind of bring them in. And me and Josh as a tag team were like terrible. We were like the fucking Hurt Syndicate. So to that point, I think I learned a little bit where I dialed things back, because also I was so hypercritical. And it was also compounding anxiety and stress. Like,
well, Johnny, you have the need to make a sale. What's Johnny, that? You were more like FTR. You would hold the guy, and Josh would come down and push the guy's feet into the pile driver.
The shatter machine, yeah,
the shatter machine,
big rig. We would do the big rig.
How does selling coffee help you? That lure more people in?
Well, so my tactic at Terrificon this past weekend, my favorite line this past weekend was, "We're not a real coffee shop," because you immediately, it's like the punch in the face. You bewildered them. a few people ran away, and good, because I don't want to serve to them. But the ones that do, and they're like, oh, like this is crazy. Like that's half the hook. Because if you tell them you're not a real coffee shop, and then all of a sudden you're serving them coffee and you're giving them the pitch, they're there for you. You know what I mean? They're here, and then they'll pick up the book. And you tell them, oh, well, it's free with a purchase. And some people just want a cup of coffee, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it does help me engage with the client.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sneaky.
I don't yell out to them, but as people walk by, if they look over, I'll say, hey, how's it going? And then if they stop and kind of look at stuff, then I'm like, oh yeah, come on in, check it out, and then I back away, let them look, and if they looking at Amy's stuff, I don't even go into the pitch. But if they start coming over to the comics, I'm like, oh yeah, here's my comic, and I give them the pitch. But I'm like very, I'm always aware. I'm not on my phone. I'm always watching the crowd.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. If you're like, but I don't yell at him. Hey, you, me. Like the guys at like Night at the Roxbury, like me.
Exactly.
Right here,
You have to character profile a little bit too, though. That's the one thing we learned when working big shows, and you probably have seen this too, Vaughn. Is that when you look at somebody and you're talking to them, you want to also look at what their badge says, because if they're a 3-day badge,
I've learned that. Yeah,
if they're a 3-day badge, that's a harder sell, right? Because they have the option to say, "I'll come back tomorrow." And you'll never see them again. Maybe you might, but you might not.
Yeah, that's another thing. Come back tomorrow. They don't.
They rarely do. I don't want to say they don't, but rarely do they.
Sometimes though, if you give them a minute and talk to them,
I was kind of saying with Shushy's car metaphor was explaining. Oh, my friend just walked away. No, that doesn't work at comic conventions, because they walk away, they are never coming back.
Because there's a million other.
Because they'll go over to that other person who will not make that approach. Who will say. Like often, if they're about to walk away, you go one last offer to steal the deal. Otherwise, they ain't coming back.
Yeah, it's a
little. They might even fully intend to come back, but like with that other guy who fully intended to come back after reading the book, what happens when you walk away? Someone else gets their money.
Yeah, and a big show.
Yeah, I know you're not, Mister. I was just clarifying,
Mr. Shushy. I walk away as a tactic sometimes, and that's how
he walks away from me. Johnny walked away. I said, "Can I get coffee?" And he sprinted in the other direction. I was like, "Johnny, what are you doing?"
I flipped around.
No, I'm kidding. That
Johnny, you did the flight.
No, I'm joking. He didn't actually do that. He saw me and he jumped behind the table and hit. I was like, Johnny, I'm just trying to talk to you, man.
I also want to share a little tactic we have in San Diego, and I think George is aware of this. He sees it at the booth. The way our booth is laid out is that we have our tables, we have a banner, and then we have a row of chairs behind the banners. And that's our little like lounge decompress area. So if we're ever at a point where like, we have a hanger-on or somebody who won't leave the booth, all we can easily do is excuse ourselves and dip behind the banner and then just decompress or whatever. Because, you have to think, we're just stationary all day long when we're behind a table. So when somebody's moving around, they have a million experiences. We just have the same kind of like, we're interacting with this person. We're locked in with them. Right. So when you do enough of that all day long, it can wear on you. So to have that option to be able to decompress or to go behind or to even kind of just disconnect from the show slightly, but also within proximity that if somebody needs you, you just pop right back around again. Yeah. That is priceless. And that helps a lot, especially in a big show like San Diego.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do love the idea of you like trying to disengage and going behind the banner. And then it's just like this every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I'm not interested.
Right.
You may have seen me do that, George.
Or you're actually hiding from somebody.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm always hoping to improve for sure. So that's why I ask,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm definitely an aggressive salesman, but
even when I walk by and I see you pitching at your table, you look like you engage with people, man. It's
not. I do. I talk to them.
Yeah,
there's some people that are like, don't talk to them after. I'm like, of course. Like, first of all, I've made some of my friends that I go and back campaigns on at a decent amount is because they took the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or they'll give me, like, I remember Billy Tucci gave me like a free mini print. And you know what I did? I remembered that. I went and I backed his campaigns. I liked the book. I remembered his website because he took the time to talk to me and nobody. And now I keep going by and getting his stuff because the people remember when you're nice to them. Sometimes they don't. And that's okay. because you're looking for that small amount that does.
I think
that's a good way to. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, as long as you're authentic, you can be aggressive. I don't mind aggressiveness.
No, yeah.
If it's authentic, if you're really enthusiastic about your book or whatever, that's cool. But if you're fake, aggressive, I don't like that. I hate that. I hate fake anything, everything.
Okay.
And to that point, we should pivot to the campaign. I'm sorry.
That's what I was trying to do. Thanks, Johnny.
What was that?
No worries.
Right.
No worries.
Yeah, I wanted to show off your campaign, Vaughn, real quick before we end this thing.
And to that point, you're very close to your goal, man. You're almost there.
Yeah. It's frustratingly close for so long, and I'm like, dude, you guys. That was what was frustrating to me, is because it was like, we're right there. Come on, it was
so
like
close, man.
Close, and then they all decided. And I'm like, come on, what happened? I was, because I'd love to, obviously you guys know, even if you think my goal is going to fund, I'm like, I'd love to just, that's one of the things I like about cons is if someone's getting the book or not. Right. It's a pleasant surprise that they come back. When people go, oh, I'll back your campaign towards the end, I'm like, are you?
Why?
Are you?
Yeah.
Because again, kind of like with Kickstarter, except I would say it's even a higher scale. Okay, another Kickstarter might grab your money if they have a 24-hour deal or something like that, or they're closing sooner than you, or they're, that's it. But yeah, so this is my book, Phenomenova. Phenomenova is a superhero story set 20 years after World War III and follows a brand new generation of superheroes. They strike out. In our first mission, they are trying to stop a heist at a nuclear reactor. That art that I showed off earlier, that original art is available, as well as the back cover for issue 2 and one of the issue 3 covers. In fact, one of the other issue 3 covers, I'm going to be having original art on the campaign. We'll see, if people get it, but we also have 2 mini prints. If you like the heroes, we got one of the heroes. If you like the villains, we got the villains, or both. It's only $5. You got issues 1 and 2, of course. We got digital options. So make sure whatever you do, check it out. If you're an artist, we do have a fan art contest, which is always fun. The winner gets printed in the book.
Cool.
So keep an eye out. I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to host the stream where we're going to go through and have people vote on the winning art. That's always a good time. But yeah, Phenomenova, if you want to play the trailer, it kind of goes through it. But basically, we're finally introduced to the title team. It only took us 3 issues because issue 1 and 2, I wanted to really harken on my main character as he gets his powers, kind of set up the world and all that. Issue 2, he begins his training. We meet one of the veteran heroes that fought during the war. Because the whole thing is this main character fails to stop the heist on his own. He's trained by one of the superheroes that fought during the war. And now with the full intent of, okay, we're going to have you join this team. What is the team? Well, now we're meeting the team in issue 3.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. How long's the trailer? I'll play it.
I was going to say
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Let's roll.
We can just roll it. As soon as the talking stops, you can.
Yeah.
Let me. I gotta dip out and put the audio on here.
Yeah, no.
If you don't want to, it's no big deal. You guys have the
cue it up. I'd say, Keith. And while that's happening, Mr. Shushy said the artwork is nuts. Which it is, great. Dude. That artwork is gorgeous.
I know.
Talk a little bit more about working with the artist.
Philip Cruz is great. Even earlier today, he sent me stuff. He sent me thumbnails, and I remember at first, even like there's something as simple as a character's reaction. I was like, I'm not sure. It's different from my script, and I took some time. I passed to my editor. He goes, No, this is better, and I go, Yeah, this is better. And sometimes that happens. He's great with feedback, but he'll come out with stuff where I'm like, Yeah, that's. That he's just, he's a pleasure to work with. His style is a perfect fit. I love working with this dude. He's stellar. He's a consummate professional, and his character designs are great. He really is like the perfect artist. I wish we didn't have a 12-hour time difference in the Philippines, but I'd love to bring him out one day. But Philip Cruz is great. He also, and it's not even an intentional thing, because I even asked him at a certain point. People are like, "Oh, it's almost borderline an anime style," and he's like, his influences are not that at all. But here's the thing: if you like anime and want to give me money, I'll pretend it's an anime style. Right? Yeah.
That's kind of like
it sells well at anime shows, and they'll be like, "Oh, it reminds me of," and they'll say this. And I'm like, Yeah, man. So I don't know anything, but I'll be like,
my Mighty Mascots artist has a very manga style mixed with like a Western kind of look.
Yeah.
So
I
said
get
that.
I said that about your comic, George, actually. So was that intentional or not?
It actually was, because Fernando had a style that he had shown some pages off of that wasn't his normal style. And he said, "Oh, I'd love to do something like this, but nobody wants to." I was like, "No, that's the exact style I want." So it's a big over the top energetic story. So it leaned, and if Fernando were here, he would say it is not anime, not out of a negativity, out of respect for that art style. It's his influenced version of that. So the big over the top comic booky vibe really fit with the sci-fi horror dark comedy of it all. So that absolutely was a choice. And the new thing that we're working on isn't, because it's not that same vibe.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, let me run the trailer here and then we'll start wrapping up the show here. So
yeah, we
one
got
sec.
it. Let's roll.
We call ourselves Phenomenova. Yesterday, the Stormbearers, a deadly group of mercenaries, took control of a nuclear reactor. Before we arrived on the scene, Galvanite, a superpowered teenage boy, attempted to stop them. He failed. His story ended there that day. Ours began shortly after. Today, I sift through the memories of that day. I will put the pieces together, and we will bring those responsible to justice.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That's an awesome one. Amy said it best right there. The art is amazing. That even the trailer, the music, the voiceover, everything was put together so very well.
So Estrella is based on a girl I know physically, like this Italian girl, and so I had her voice the character because she was into voice acting. But yeah, to reiterate, basically, Phenomenova issue 3, it is an easy jumping on point. I wanted to make every issue new reader friendly, but issue 3 is essentially, we have this character Estrella who's deaf and blind, but she has psychometry, which means she can absorb information through physical contact. It's that kind of a psychic ability. And so she's able to, she's a great detective because of it.
Kind of like Rogue?
I didn't even think of that. There's only, I thought of more of, you know what? Let's go. Yeah. If it comes across, I guess I kind of, but it's more like she can be in the room and then absorb crime scene information. And like she's reliving her team's memories of the event at the reactor. She's also, she's reliving the video seems a bit weird, but she's reliving her teammates' events at the reactor while also cutting back in real time. She's trying to figure out some unanswered questions. Why did they break into the reactor? Who are these guys? What were they trying to steal? How did the fights play out between the team?
Right.
We know some characters were injured based on issue 2. It's described, but it's not fully explained. And now we're kind of seeing it all happen. So part of why I wish I could show off more things is I kind of start answering questions right out the gate. And I kind of don't want to tell you on the camp. So I'm like, my artist likes to draw in sequential order, generally speaking. And one of the things I've gotten better as a writer with is snapping to the point. Now, this issue is priced between issues 1 and 2 because 1 was a giant size first issue, 2 was 24 pages. This is originally going to be 28, which is going to be my new standard. But my artist kind of likes that Jim Lee art style. I'm like, all right, you know what? When am I going to get to see the first appearance of this many heroes and villains? I'm like, all right, let's give them some double page spreads. Let's really have the action be explosive. And I was like, so that was kind of, I made it more so my artist could have more room to draw some of this action. So
nice, dude. Looks so dynamic. You guys knocked it out of the park with this one.
Thank you.
All right. So I put it in the chat. So the link is there if everyone wants to check out Phenomenova. And, it'll also be in the video tomorrow.
7K. Come on, guys. One backer.
Yeah, you're
so
almost
close.
there, Vaughn.
And also, if we hit 12K.
How many days you have left? You have 20 days. You should be able to hit that.
Yeah, well, I want to hit the goal, but if you guys want more bang for your buck, help it hit earlier because if we exceed that, if we hit 12K, that's a trading card of that character, Estrella. If we hit 20K, it's another trading card. So
awesome.
If you guys help me go above and beyond, not only am I going to help speed up the next couple issues, because if you notice, we're going at a pretty fast pace. But on top of that, also you guys get more cool stuff. So every action is incentivized. So campaign's going slow. You can wait till the end, but you're not guaranteed all the cool stuff. If we hit that goal earlier, there's a good chance more people will jump on the train. You might get more cool stuff. So
awesome. Right on, dude.
All right. Yeah. So that sounds great. So everyone check that out. Guys, I'm ready to wrap this up. If you guys are, we went a little long tonight, but it
was great conversation. We
all,
it was great to talk about Terrificon, all the Fan Expo.
I feel like that whole section where we're talking about selling will definitely be a future ICR bit because there's a lot of good information there for people that sell at conventions, like just different techniques and different things we were talking about. So I'll cut that up and release that as a separate video at some point. But yeah, guys, Johnny, Harry, anything you guys want to shout out to the audience?
Well, I wanted Vaughn to take a moment to make sure the audience knows where to find him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, social media.
I mean, I'm everywhere, possibly to a fault in my sanity, but I am everywhere. If you check out my YouTube channel, it's Vaughn, just my name, Vaughn Cohen. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Rebel Oasis Studios is the name of my company. You can find us. We're either Rebel Oasis or Rebel Oasis Studios. You got my website right here. We've got some other stuff in the works. Like I mentioned, Zach and I are working on a book together. If you like that cover, more where that's coming from. I have a short story collection. If you want, that's actually not comics. It's like a written stories, but one of them is going to introduce an anti-hero in the Phenomenova universe. So if you want more, because I was like, he's not going to be able to appear for a while. I'm like, but what if I had a story from the perspective of thugs getting hunted by a violent anti-hero? I'm like, that is terrifying stuff. So I wrote that.
That's your natural writer instinct, wanting to you said, jump ahead to those awesome moments and stories, right?
Do you know how nice it is to write a story and not have to think about, I have to pay for this?
So
nice. So nice. So that was great. I've got some other stuff going within Phenomenova, also without. One book I'm writing with a stand-up comedian friend of mine that started as a joke, and we're like, we're gonna do this. It's guaranteed money. Is this book called I Can Fix Her. So it's about a demon hunter who has an ex-girlfriend who's half demon, but she's not like other demons. She's different. I can fix her. So it's a comedy book. So be on the lookout for that. I think that's gonna
sounds great, man.
That sounds like an awesome concept.
That's why I just say the name and people laugh. So
it's someone asking what the name of the stand-up comedian is.
Theo Snodgrass.
Theo.
What a great name.
I found him online. He's in Vegas now.
Vegas. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting.
Right on.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Johnny, Harry, anything you guys want to shout out, share? or anything
I'll
like
be
that?
appearing in my bed in the next 5 minutes because I only have like 8 hours of sleep all weekend. So
blasphemy.
Dreaming
God.
of coats or nightmares of coats. How about
Exactly
you,
right.
here? How about you, Johnny?
No, I just want to take a moment to thank George, Vaughn, and Rick all for coming on the show tonight, taking time out of your evening and sharing all your creative projects with us. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
I only want to show one more thing. My landing page for Kid Switch 1 and 2 on Kickstarter.
Yes.
Could definitely
Can't
use some
wait.
followers on this. This is my next project. Taking a little break, tiny break from Mighty Mascots to finally finish this mini series that I started back in like 2014. If first issue's done, second issue is in the progress. Might even be done by the time this Kickstarter goes live, but cannot wait. It's Ben 10 meets the TV show Sliders. That's the best way I can describe it. And I always was a fan of teen superheroes. So if you
With
like
a little
what
bit
you
of Tech
see,
Jacket.
what's that? Yeah, kind of like Tech
Well,
Jacket
that-
too. Yeah,
little
you
bit
can
like
throw that in
Tech
there
Jacket.
too.
Yeah.
we actually had a Ben 10 jacket at the show.
Oh, did you really?
This past weekend.
Gonna change
We
it to
did.
Kid Switch for me. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
that'd
could
be
use
cool.
more eyes on it. So
Yeah.
if anybody's if this concept sounds good to you, definitely click the link and get notified. The more people we have ahead of time, the better. The better it will be. So that's my 2 cents. What does the Kickstarter go live for this? I'm still don't have a date yet. Hoping late September, October. Might time it actually because our good friend George Medina was at the convention this
Oh,
weekend.
that scoundrel.
Yeah, I love
He
George.
letters my book. I
I
love
knew
George's-
that. Actually, yeah, I know that.
Because
You
I was gonna
told me
say,
that.
I was like, should I specify or should I just have him be like, oh, Vaughn doesn't like him, and then just go through the campaign? Wait a minute, you work with that stuff.
But he has like that book called The Shameless Plug coming up, which actually looks really good.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I
it
told
really
him like
does.
maybe we could kind of team up since our books are like about teenagers with superpowers and things like that. So yeah, definitely want to do some marketing with him and stuff. So but yeah, that's all I got, guys. Oh, in Plastic City in 2 weeks, so definitely check that out. Go to our website for the entire list of guests coming. It's gonna be a great show. We got the variant cover for Shredder. That's gonna be great. Limited to 250 copies.
That's gonna be
$20
awesome.
at admission. Yeah, I know. I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see how that does. Yeah, that's all I got. So, are you guys ready to wrap this one up and hit the hay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shut it down.
I know, right? All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, and join us in 2 weeks, and we'll be live again with a whole brand new set of guests. And we will talk to you later. And most importantly, read some comics, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
All right, good
Excellent
night,
to one
and
another.
we'll talk to you
All right,
later.
buddy. Good night.